have no idea how hard I have to try to not say, hey guys.
Say hi, guys.
It is the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
And sexist.
What?
And sexist.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see
not all
what you're
guys.
saying. I see what you're saying. Sorry, I didn't mean
Hi,
to be
people.
sexist.
Just every week,
Hello.
start the show in a different language.
Oh, that's really
But I'll
good.
say, hey guys,
On
in
your
that
own.
language.
Oh, I guess you could. I mean, that's the problem is they
It's too
might
much
not.
research.
Yeah, just find out how to say hello.
Anyways, this is the
Guten
podcast. This is
Tag.
episode 347.
I'm sure they
Oh,
make a
good
calendar
God.
that tells you how to say hello in every language every day.
Probably.
But does it tell you how to say guys? That's what I need to know.
Uh,
Anyways, this is episode 347 of 4-Player Podcast. It's January 21st? 21st?
Yes.
Oh my god. January 21st, 2014. This is our first, I hate to use the word regular podcast because that makes it sound
normal.
normal and not
There's
exciting.
nothing normal about this show. Crash. Dong. Those are supposed to be sound effects.
Thank you. Obviously, Brad Simons is joining us.
Yes, it's me.
And he sounds thrilled to be here. Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, guys?
And
I'm good
Christopher
to be here,
Guthridge.
too.
Hello. I'm ambivalent about being here.
Okay. Fantastic. And
Things are gonna get crazy.
Those are your sound effects. Where's your Tim Allen?
we're not starting the show. We're not starting the show like that.
I saw in chat, I was playing some random game, and someone said something about a Skyrim mod that replaces all the sound effects with Tim Allen grunts. I don't know if it was make believe
Wait.
or if that actually exists.
Wait, all the sound effects
Well, I'm
are
sure
just
all, like,
like
the
are just
grunting.
like the
or some of
dragon
them,
shouts.
maybe the dragons. I don't know.
Like
I
the
just saw
shouts.
something. I didn't know if it was a joke or real. But it seems
Instead of like Fusro Da, he's like, more power.
Anyways, I just want to go ahead and start the show by saying that after the show, we're going to be having a little community roundtable. So if members of the community would like to show up, ask us questions, we'll have a little group think going on. Oh, that's not the word I'm thinking of.
Groupthink?
Group think is a entirely different thing.
group discussion.
Group
No, we're not even having a group
powwow.
discussion.
I don't know.
We're
gonna
having
have a dialogue
conversation.
with
A
the
jam
community.
sesh.
We're gonna have maybe we're gonna have a community jam. Why didn't we call this the community jam session?
no jam sesh.
Because
Oh,
I
so-
don't come to the meetings and you guys don't consult me on these things.
Well, you serve a very
We
important
consult
purpose.
you, you just never look at your email.
That's true.
That
Well,
is-
now you guys got hip chat and I can't even use that shit.
Because you're not hip to chat.
I know.
That is true. But
I
we're gonna
know.
get you set up on
My
that.
old
I-
tech-
Why
I
are
assure
you not in the hip chat?
Because you have to have iOS 7.
Because you're not hip.
I'm not hip.
You have to have iOS 7?
If you're on the
Yeah.
iPhone, yeah.
Lols.
Weird.
Wah, wah.
Anyways, that is neither here nor there. All I'm trying to say is after the podcast, we're gonna have since there's obviously no major new releases at this point in January. I think the first major new release is the first week of February for us, and then it's kind of like nonstop for a year. So we have some downtime here. So we're gonna have a community jam sesh.
Yeah, you have
Sesh.
trouble saying that?
Sesh.
That's why we
Jam
didn't
sesh.
call it that, Nick, because you can't say
Because I
it.
can't pronounce it. We're going to have a community jam sesh after the podcast where y'all can ask us questions, voice any concerns. We're going to try and be as transparent as we can, talk to you guys about, what it is we do, how we do things.
To make things easier, if you are listening live right now, just send me an email, nolanhedstrom@4playernetwork.com, with your questions. That way we can have them ahead of time and not have to look at chat and maybe miss one because it rolls too far up.
Yeah,
and we miss
because
it.
trying to answer questions directly out of chat is kind of crazy.
A little bit.
So if you have some thoughts, suggestions, ideas, whatever, send them to Nolan. We'll tackle them live during the roundtable. And there's also a forum thread, I think started by Community Boy, that if y'all want to leave some more detailed thoughts there, by all means, we are looking at those, and I think Community Boy is going to put together a pretty extensive list of things that we're going to look at. So please consider doing one of those things. It'd be really awesome. We need and want your feedback a lot because we want 2014 to be really big for us. So any feedback is great.
It's the first year that we've been together that has a 4 in it.
Whoa.
Oh
So just
my
imagine, just get rid of
God.
201 and you're left with 4, which is... I'm sorry.
Just anyways, back to the podcast. I just want to say we're excited 2014 is going to be fucking crazy. If you haven't yet and you're interested in hearing about all the crazy shit that's coming out this year, please go download our 2014 preview show because we covered. I'm pretty comfortable saying we have probably the most extensive preview list of any gaming podcast out there because we named just about everything that we could think of that's announced at this point.
Even
stuff that's
we even named stuff
rumored.
that's not announced.
Yeah, we
I guarantee you, $1 million. No other podcast is talking about Tetropolis.
That's true.
We are the only fucking ones.
We made a few
That's
things
true.
up.
Have you seen those exclusive gifts?
They're pretty
Of
crazy.
Tetropolis?
Yes.
By the way, Next Gen Pants just released their first blog, or I guess first 3 blogs talking about the gameplay mechanics for Tetropolis. It actually looks really fucking cool.
I was the very first person in the world to demo the game.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on impressions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
No,
we
I
should
don't
try
want
to-
to get too excited on the
Did you under
show.
like an NDA or something?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
With blood.
Yes.
Bob's pretty serious about his NDAs.
Firstborn.
So, anyways, if you're not aware, Tetropolis is the
The
game.
stuff that's already out there is fair game.
Tetropolis is a game that's being developed by a few guys that started here at 4Player. Obviously, that's Bob, Joseph, Jeff are all involved in the project. So they started an indie game studio called Next Gen Pants, and they're working really hard on it. So please show them your support. Go read it. Go look at the GIFs talking about some of the mechanics.
Actually,
GIFs. I'm sorry.
No, it's GIF.
It's GIF.
It's GIF.
It's GIFs.
I will
GIF.
kill you.
The GIF guy said
The
GIFs.
GIF guy.
The
said
GIF guy
GIF.
is wrong.
You misread the article. He said GIF, not GIF.
Anyways,
Yes.
I just want to say it looks pretty awesome. We're pretty excited. No one's actually played the game.
Mm-hmm.
Brad's wrong.
Brad is wrong. But anyways, back to it. We have some games to talk about. We got a lot. This is our first regular podcast we've had in a long time, so we have a lot of impressions to talk about. We're going to talk about Bravely Default, which the demo is out on 3DS, and the game's actually coming out in early February. And we're going to talk about season 2 of Walking Dead. That's been out there for a little while. And then we also got some interesting stuff happening in the news, including some stuff with Nintendo and IO Interactive of all,
And PlayStation.
and PlayStation. There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
And Xbox. I forgot to bring that up earlier.
Oh, you want to talk about the fiasco
I
with
kinda do.
Machinima?
I don't know if it's with Machinima.
Well,
Let's move. Let's talk about it.
anyways,
Am
I gonna-
we'll cover all of these things.
Can I read that IO letter out loud on the podcast?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I was actually going to suggest that earlier, but I forgot to. So, Brad will do a dramatic reading of the
Brad,
IO
did you get any
Interactive.
pants?
Yeah. But, I mean, they're not shorts.
Are they next
Yeah,
gen pants?
They do look next gen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I didn't. Did I steal your punchline there?
Kind
ahead
of
of time.
Yeah, it's all right though.
Anyways, let's get started. Let's talk about Bravely Default on the 3DS. All of us except for Crispy's played it.
You guys all played it?
Yeah,
What the
I, beat
I
it.
haven't played. in my defense, I haven't played a whole lot of that.
I
Actually,
I
I'm
100%ed it.
going to kind of rely on Nolan and Brett here to kind of explain a few things to me because the game is very. I mean, it's
After
pretty. The combat system is pretty.
It's different.
deep,
Yeah,
and it's
it's
different. It's
different.
very different. I still don't quite have the hang of what everything
We can explain
means.
it. Mhm.
So, Bravely Default being first of all, who's developing this? I don't even remember the name of the developer.
it's Square.
Yeah, it is Square, but
It's
I mean, I can
not Matrix.
Is it Matrix?
Matrix Software.
I
They're
have it.
the
I have it on the
guys
dock.
who I believe did the Final Fantasy 4 and the 3 and 4 remakes that were on the DS. Remember
Which
those?
were pretty good, if I remember correctly.
They were
Mhm.
they were fine.
They're all right.
And I believe they go all the way back to, I think maybe they worked on something like a Lunja or something. There's something from the PS1 era that they're known for, but now
Now-
they help out, or they're I think yeah, they
And
do
here's-
stuff with Square Enix.
Here's a question I have because I don't. Is Bravely Default a new IP or is this a
no,
Okay, this is something that's been around for a while.
Well,
then.
no.
It's just not.
Here's the thing: there was this game called Final Fantasy and the 4 Heroes of
The
Light.
developer
Yeah.
is Silicon Studios.
Okay, who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
Okay, maybe it's some other game I'm playing. There was a game called Final Fantasy and the 4 Heroes of Light. I think that was the
yes.
name
That's
of
what it
it
was called. Yeah.
for the DS.
Mhm.
Apparently, that didn't do that well. The game was, from what I hear, pretty solid. Some people really liked it more than others. Some people thought it was too simple. This is very much kind of like a spiritual successor to that, but they're not calling it that anymore. They're calling it its own thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I'd say it's sort of a spiritual successor to that game.
But in the end, it's going to have a lot in common with Final Fantasy in terms of its approach.
It's a very throwback to old school Final Fantasy. Yeah, think like 4. Think you know that,
which are a lot of the Final Fantasies that I've personally never played. I mean, beyond maybe playing for a couple hours.
Is this why we were talking about job class systems?
Yes, because
this is why I couldn't tell that you were talking about tactics when we were before the shows, because I just heard job classes and I assumed you were talking about Bravely Default because the game is pretty entrenched in this job class system.
Not very much. And so the demo, it's lacking a lot.
What? Let's set it up.
Sure.
Like, the demo is not a part of this game.
No. It is not.
It's created to be this whole separate thing. So, like, the progression in the demo is not necessarily representative of what it's like in the actual game.
Correct.
And neither is the structure. The demo is mostly consists of just doing, like, random fetch quests. They almost kind of feel like MMO quests.
They very much.
The main game is not like that.
Correct.
It's a story-driven
That's what I was saying.
experience.
I was talking to Nick earlier that there is no real story in the demo. They kind of bring up, they're like, hey, we need you to do this. Go do it. And
it
then
actually
you leave.
drops you in the middle of in the middle of like a dialogue, like
Yeah.
a cutscene, and you're kind of like, there's no context really.
It is a little confusing at the beginning, but then once you realize that's what they're going for, it's like, oh, okay. And you're just in a town, and you just start talking to people, and they're like, hey, can you go do this for me? Hey, can you go do... Yeah, it's just a bunch of fetch quests, and you start exploring this world, doing fetch quests for people. And like we were saying, it's very old school Final Fantasy. There's a job class system, and I don't know...
This will honestly be the first RPG I think I've ever played where it had a really big focus on job classes that I could think of.
You son of a bitch.
There's been a lot since the old school Final Fantasies.
Well,
but no, at least there's something that he's going to play, that he's going to start getting into games like that.
You played 10 too, though, right?
I doubt.
He-
I mean,
yeah, he
I
did
played
not.
I played about 9 hours before I got to a boss that like I was literally stuck on, and I couldn't backtrack to like level up. So I kind of just
That doesn't
said,
sound
"Fuck it."
familiar at all.
So
Yeah.
that studio I was talking about, Matrix Software, they did do Alundra back in the day. They did do those Final Fantasy ports, and they did Final Fantasy and the 4 Heroes of Light.
Okay.
So maybe Silicon Studio is just like a spin-off studio.
Maybe, yeah. But anyway, like I said, very heavy on the job class system. The demo only has, I think, like 9 different classes.
Yeah.
But if the wheel that's in the demo is representative, there's
There's a lot.
30 different classes.
Yeah.
30?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like it gets you, like.
But I mean, it's like treed, right? So like you have like different tiers that unlock.
I would
into higher
assume so,
levels,
but I
right?
mean, like I said, it's
They're
just,
not just like
it's
30
just it's a
completely.
big wheel, and only 9 of them actually have anything. The rest are just blanks.
So as you're playing the game and you're engaging in combat, and you're obviously leveling up your
Right.
characters, but you also have a separate
Leveling.
meter for each job class attached to that character, right? So that's right.
Yes.
So you get job points for every
So
enemy.
every battle
defeat.
at the end of every battle, you get money,
Right.
you get experience,
Right.
and you get job class points or job points, JP.
Experience for the characters.
Exactly.
Job points
So
for
the longer
jobs.
you're in a job, the more experience you become in it. You learn new techniques, but then you will hit a cap on your job class, and so you will no longer earn. So that's why they not force you, but it's a good idea to switch your characters to new job class, to try out new jobs, because then you'll learn new abilities. And like Brad was saying, if you well, I mean, I guess that you can actually take the small subset of any other job class. You don't have to know that job.
Well, it's not a subset.
It's-
You learn like kind of like skills that you can equip with like a point system. Like you have a certain max amount of points. Different skills have different points, so you got to kind of like,
No, that's different. That's different though.
Okay.
I'm talking about when you look at the job class screen.
Yeah.
Or when you're selecting abilities, you have the default ability that's selected because you have to have that because that's your job.
Yeah.
And then you have a secondary subset you can select. And then below
That's
that,
right.
you have a set of abilities you can choose from that you've unlocked. So look at this. You level up your job, right? And you learn abilities from that. And each of those abilities, will have a point value set to it. And you can... And they're not all active. Some of them are passive.
Yeah.
But then before you go into battle, you can select any subset of abilities you've unlocked to use. Like one of them that I've talked about before is multitask. Multitask is a really fucking OP ability in the sense that I think every time you attack, there's like a 25% chance that you will attack again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and if you have like all of your characters set with that, like there have been times where because you can attack multiple times on each turn.
Yeah.
I've had one character that attacked instead of 4 times, he attacked 6 times, just because of that multitask ability. And there's a lot of other ones.
So here's a quick question: the skills you learn from leveling up your job, those are only available to you when you have that job equipped?
It depends on the skill. So that's what I was saying. So there's this subset of it's hard to describe.
They're like full perks.
No, there are perks and there's still skills though.
Yeah.
So you have say you're a white mage. You have all your healing abilities.
Yeah.
But you can select black mage as your subclass, and you can use some of the abilities that black mage would use, not all.
Right.
So what are the limits on that? Is that defined?
I mean, I can just like look at it real quick, but I mean, I don't know. Like it's let's move off of that. Where I feel like we spent way too much time on that.
The combat system.
So yeah, the Bravely Default.
Yeah.
So Bravely Default is the name of the game, but it's also how the system works in battle.
It's the core mechanic of the game.
So when you go in battle, you have multiple options. You can attack, you can do Brave, and you can do Default and a couple other things. But so what happens when you go Default is you go into a defensive stance. And that gives you a BP, I believe, a battle point. So some skills that you learn require battle points to use.
Yeah.
For example, there's one that's like in like the ninja kind of class, there's one that will let you, like, if you get attacked, you'll parry or something like that and attack back with a more powerful attack.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a battle point to use, you can't use it.
So that's when you do that attack. That's called a brave, isn't it? You use a brave.
No, that's just an attack. Brave means I'm going to essentially sacrifice a turn later to use it now. So it's a turn-based game, right? Yeah. So you take a turn, enemy takes a turn. You take a turn, enemy takes a turn. But you can do Brave, which means I want to take more of my turns now than later. So say it's just me and you, just two people in battle. I can use Brave multiple times, but that would mean
that once you expend all those turns.
Exactly. So instead of me take a turn, you take a turn, I take two of my turns now. And then you take your turn, but then I can't go again because I've already used my next turn.
Gotcha.
So you can use Brave up to 4 times, which means you can attack 4 times in a row. Any set, you can attack, magic, item, whatever, anything you want, any subset of things. But as soon as that's done, the enemy can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
So you have to weigh the balance of, do I want to use a bunch of attacks now? Do I want to use, sometimes, for example, when you're playing, a Final Fantasy game and you want to cast Protect on your members, you can't do it all at once. Mm-hmm. But you can use Brave 4 times and cast 4 Protects, 1 on each of your guys.
Yeah.
So you there's different ways you can do it. It just depends on how you
use it
want.
Offensively or defensively.
Exactly. Yeah. There was one battle I did with this really powerful dragon, and I was like, well, fuck it. I set all of my guys to black mages. I gave them all rods, and I went 4 Brave, so that's 16 attacks of all casting the second higher up blizzard spell and just fucking destroy the dragon, just because just this wave of attacks on him.
But can the dragon?
So no, that's the thing. So as soon as all our Braves are done, he has 4 turns to do whatever he wants.
So
the thing is, the enemy can also do Brave and Default.
See, and that's the weird thing. It's sort of the timing. Like, is the enemy reacting to the fact that you did 4 Brave, so that you used up a bunch of your turns, and then he's gonna default to like defend against it, and then use Brave, bank up a bunch of his turns to like attack.
So
the flow of battle isn't. This is one of my problems with what I've played so far. Mm-hmm. It reminds me of some of the earlier Final Fantasies before the active time battle system. Like take Final Fantasy 3 on the DS. Did some of y'all play that?
I played a little bit.
Yes, I did.
So 3 on the DS had a job class system. It wasn't actually all that different than this in terms of like the job class system, but it wasn't an active time battle. So like generally speaking, like a ninja class would attack first because he's faster, but it's not like this.
So there is a
but I fucking hate the fact that I can't see the order of which me and the enemies will attack. Like, say, like Final Fantasy X. On Final Fantasy X, you can see when everybody's going to move. Same with, so you can use...
So yeah, in 10, you could press like R1 or something, and it would bring up a list of every single... And it would go on, not just the next 3 attacks. It would go on for a while, and it would show you. And if you used haste, you would see your character would come up.
But I want to see that because I feel like
in this game.
I can't strategize as well as I'd like. Like, for example, I had a situation where... there's like a bard class or whatever, and they can sing songs to give you buffs, right?
Yeah, I have that as well. Yeah.
So So like one of their songs is to like increase the physical attacks of all my party members. And at this time I was rolling around with like a pretty much all physical party. So I was like, okay, so what I want to do is my very first turn, I want the guy who sings to fucking sing, right?
Yeah.
So I put it on presumably what was the fastest class because traditionally he would attack first, and I put the song on him. So the first thing he'd do is buff everyone, then everyone else would attack, like the slower knight or whatnot, right? But there were these times where, for whatever fucking reason, he didn't go first.
He would go last almost. I've had that happen.
Not last, but like there was another guy who I guess had comparable speed, and sometimes he'd go fucking first. But because I attacked like I fucking used Brave and I did like 4 attacks in a row, he did like 4 attacks that weren't even buffed because the guy who was supposed to sing the song didn't go first, and I wanted like again really early. Like Dragon Quest games and Final Fantasy games, I think Dragon Quest is probably still like this, where you have no idea the order of which my guys are attacking. I don't know when the enemy's gonna hop in and attack. It just seems a little bit random. Now there's some like vague like rules. Like my knight's usually gonna be the last one to attack because that's a slower class. But I hate that I don't know exactly what it is, because 1, this is a turn-based game, so there's no reason they shouldn't show that. But 2, with the Brave and default system, the fact that you can either bank turns or take them all right now, I feel like it's even more important that you should know who's gonna do what when. It makes it, in my opinion, I feel like it's a little harder to strategize it, and maybe I don't really kind of fully understand it yet. I stopped playing the demo after a certain point because I was like, well, these levels aren't going to transfer over. Some items are, but I looked them up and they seemed kind of
they're not the best,
like pointless items. And I find it really frustrating because later games have done it perfectly.
Yeah.
The active time battle solved for this problem, or like in Final Fantasy X that didn't use the active time battle, you could see the turns. Xenosaga is a series that has a turn-based system where you can boost, which is very similar to like using these brave points to like I'm gonna boost my dude using my boost points to get his turn like sooner than he normally would have, so I can get in his attack maybe before the enemy, or a heal before the enemy. But it again, like Final Fantasy X, it had a turn order, so when you boosted, you would see him pop up to the top, like haste in 10.
Yeah.
And it really added, to my ability to strategize, and I feel like this game needs that so badly.
So I see what you're saying, and I agree. Like Brad was saying, in battle, it's kind of hard to tell who's going to go. You get the general idea. You can look at their stats and see what their agility or whatever it is, and you can see when, like a guesstimate, but you can't always tell.
I'm glad this came out because I thought I was crazy. I thought I was like missing something. I was like, I couldn't tell like what was dictating the order in which my characters were attacking.
I mean, if they have a similar speed, they might. It just depends. And so, like, I agree with Brad. It'd be nice because when you get into the finer details, the more trying to strategize when in your battle, you can't always tell.
It removes an element of control when you get that predictability is kind of removed. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, not what you want to do, but you could have everyone default and have him sing, and so they would definitely get boosted.
I feel like that's a kind of a sloppy way to get around the fact that you don't know what's going to happen.
I agree, it's very sloppy.
It's a cool idea, and I definitely want to explore more of it. But what's kind of keeping me going forward is definitely just the job class system itself. Like, I want to try all these jobs. I want to get all their abilities. Like, at some point in the demo, I even kind of felt like, as I was leveling up my ninja, that I was kind of like already going in the direction of like a build, if you will, because he had certain abilities. He had that ability to be able to evade an attack, and then he had an ability that would like he got another ability that would add like a counter to that, but then he had like an ability that would like maybe like,
are you thinking of the sword master? Because I know the sword master has the one that lets them, or is that might be a ninjutsu attack that
there was like a synergy going on that focused around that one ability, to where when I first got that ability, it didn't seem that useful. But as I started to get more like abilities that buffed that, all of a sudden it was like, well, if I equip all these abilities and like with this job and maybe this subset, like I can have a fucking dude who like once he gets attacked and he evades that attack, he's just gonna wreck shit. Yeah. Which is cool. That's what's cool about job class systems.
So I remember the thing is, I played this demo for like 8 hours, so I don't remember how it was at the beginning. I just remember how it is now. So you choose your job, and then you choose like another I think what is it? It's called. I can pull it up real quick. It's called a job command, and you can choose a different job class to use those abilities. but I think you have to have learned them first. And the problem is, all of my characters are at the max level of every job, so all of my characters are essentially can use 2 jobs in battle almost.
Yeah.
Just because I have them all maxed out.
Oh, that's good.
But what Brad was saying, like an example is, I like the ninja, and one of the ninja. So
Who doesn't like ninjas?
Yeah. So they all have what is it called? Different, depending what class they are. Like different weapons are boosted. So I mean, a ninja shouldn't be using like a rod or a sword. They should be using daggers. They're better like that. And there's a ninjutsu move called Iki Kaisei, something like that. I don't know. But how battling works in this game is, so say when you attack, just a physical attack, you won't just hit him once. Sometimes you'll hit him like 2 or 3 or something like that if you're like a swordsman. But ninjas always hit more. They'll hit like 5 or 6 or something like that. And with this attack, what this ability does is it boosts the number of attacks you do. So instead of hitting 5 or 6, I'll hit like 10 times with the weapon in my right hand. And then if I have a dagger in my left hand, I'll hit 10 times with that dagger. And then if I brave 4 times, that's 40 hits. And if I multitask, that's another, wait, that's not 40, that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. That's 80 hits possibly. And then possibly another like almost like 120 hits on this guy just by braving, having multitask, using this. Well, actually, that one is an ability, so you'd only hit him 3 times after. But whatever. There is like a lot of strategy to having, because that ability, it's pretty powerful, but you have to default because it costs 1 battle point to do.
Yeah.
So you have to choose 1 turn to not attack and then have your next turn, unleash hell on this enemy.
It's a pretty it's a pretty complex system, I think.
Yeah.
But one that I think is going to be really rewarding if you can get over that kind of that certain element of unpredictability there, which maybe in the full game maybe there's a reason for that.
So one thing I wanted to talk about is there's like a little town system in the game.
Wait, but before you get into that, I want to mention one little detail that I really like about the battle system, and it's the kind of thing, especially in Japanese RPGs, you don't see stuff like this. But attention to detail, I like that, especially in control and interface design. I like how in battle, to like brave and default, which is essentially like bank a turn and defend, or you use multiple turns ahead, ahead of time, go into like minus turns, if you will. They're shortcutted to the the triggers,
left and right. Yeah.
So I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you just want to like fucking brave 4 turns in a row, you just tap the right trigger 4 times real quick, and it just pops up for those interfaces right away.
How it works,
that's a really elegant way of
how it works is every time you brave, so you'll have like your battle menu, but if you brave, it'll pop up another battle menu on top.
Of that, yeah.
So like you said, you can literally do everything. Whatever you could attack, you can magic, you could item, you can whatever.
4 complete turns.
Exactly. So it'll pop up if you brave 4 times. It'll pop up 4 windows, and you'll select one, and that one will go away, and they'll do the next one, that one will go away, and it kind of like
it's a pretty menu heavy system too.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a pretty standard like turn-based RPG, just with that that brave and default mechanic layered on top of it. I'm just saying like that sort of control detail, elegance, if you will, you don't really see. I mean, you usually see a lot of like really clunky interfaces. That was just a smart choice. I like that.
I'll tell you what I really like about the game. And this is obviously, I mean, the mechanics of this game are great. It's going to make anyone who loves classic, more traditional turn-based RPGs is probably going to love this game. The game also, I think, is noteworthy because I think it looks fucking gorgeous.
It's got a cool art style.
It's got a fantastic art style, and it's one that's not immediately apparent just from looking at like screenshots and whatnot. But like when you're walking around town, like when I first came out of the building, the first building you're in, you come out of the town, the camera starts to kind of pull back, and it looks like it almost looks like a Metroidvania, and that it's a completely side-scrolling, like you can go down steps and everything, but you can also move forward and backwards in that 3D space, even though you're on a 2D plane. And as you start to move throughout the city, the camera starts to pull back, and you can kind of see the entirety of the map, and it's gorgeous. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just like the environment that you start out in the game, but like it's giving me a lot of like, it's reminded me of like some of the older RPGs that I used to play a long time ago, like Vagrant Story or Fire Emblem, or sorry, Breath of Fire, things like that. Just like the world looks really, it looks vibrant, but at the same time, it kind of gives me these vibes of like Final Fantasy 12, where it was like very political kind of. Like I think it looks to me like it's going to have a very kind of
Probably.
grounded, more political story. Which I think
I'm
would be cool.
I'm actually wondering if the character artist or like some of the artists are similar to the are the same artists that have worked with like Matsuno games in the past, like Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy 12. Just the color palette.
Yeah, the
Kind of
color
looks like those
that's
games.
that's the word I was trying looking for.
Color
The
palette?
color palette looks very
Man, you
Matsuno.
wiped.
No, so the thing was I was trying a strategy on him that I forgot I hadn't changed something, and I also forgot I had recently upped the difficulty. And so the thing is, the video I didn't bring is me wrecking shop on him. But the problem was that video was like 4 gigs and it was taking too long to copy, and we wanted to get here. So I mean, I think Chris Davis will have that video for some other thing.
I
Maybe
think he's probably going to work it into the actual podcast video. Which
maybe
is
he
going up on
could.
YouTube.
There's actually better footage in that second video, in my opinion. But anyway, what I wanted to say was there's that whole town system, like a subsystem, and how that works is they're kind of doing it based off a street pass thing, where if you street pass with somebody who has Bravely Default and they've set up this system, you'll get a new person in your village. And the more people you have, the faster your village will grow. And your village has little shops in it, and you can buy items from those shops if you've leveled them up. And so the higher level they are, the better items you can buy from them. I don't know if it earns you any money anyway, but I know you can buy them. So the problem is the demo wouldn't let you do any of the actual purchasing. But since I built up my village in the demo, that will all transfer over to the main game. So once I actually start the main game.
How big of a role is the village building going to take in the actual
I
game?
doubt that big.
Like, are we talking like, is it going to be like Dark Cloud?
No. I don't think it's going to be
I
that
think
big
it's
at
more
all.
like Breath of Fire 3.
Yeah, I think it's just essentially a group of shops that if you take the time. So the thing is, you don't even need to street pass with people. You'll get 2 people. And you don't even need 2 people. You just need like 1 person, just 1 villager. And the thing is, the more people you have, the quicker it goes. So you'll assign a villager, hey, take this weapon shop from level 1 to level 2. Oh, that's going to take 10 hours. Okay, so 10 hours from now, it'll be level 2. But if you had 2 villagers, it would take 5 hours. 3 villagers, it would take 3.5. Whatever. Math. But anyway, so it's not necessary to have more people. You can do it on your own. The one silly thing is I think to get around that, like people adjusting the time clock on their system, the village only advances when your game is active.
Oh.
So no, it can be in standby mode. Standby mode's fine.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because one night I set my village to start building a 10-hour thing, and I exited the game, not really. So the next morning, no progression. I was like, son of a bitch. Like I didn't even I could have started the game back up. I mean, that's just something small, but I think they're doing that to get around people like adjusting the time clock on their DS to make it seem like the more time has passed so they can shortcut it. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Like I said, I don't think the village is going to be that big. Just a little sub thing they have there that's kind of nice, I guess. But like you were saying, I do like the town system, the structure of like towns when you go and visit them. Yeah. The bottom screen will be like a map, and it will kind of show you the paths you can take, and on the top screen you can
that map reminds me of Pixel Junk Monsters.
I guess I can see that. Yeah. But I don't know. I really enjoyed. I mean, so Brad, how many dungeons did you go in the game? Just that first one, or
a couple?
So there's like an underground kind of there's like a deserty kind of cave really dungeon to the left.
They're really short.
Yeah, they were really small. Like I don't think they'll be that small in the game.
Yeah, I mean, none of this content is. I mean, I think the assets and stuff are going to be in use in the game, but I don't think these are even actual places.
I think it was just thrown
that's what they're saying.
Idea.
They're saying this is all just almost like Stanley Parable. It has nothing to do with the main game. It's just showing you an example of what it will be like. And so there was kind of like a cave dungeon, and then like a forest one with like swamps, and you could cut through across the swamp, but if you went into it, you get poisoned. And then like a dungeon to the south that was like an underground kind of like not cave, it was more of an actual dungeon. And I don't know. I mean, some of the bosses were kind of cool.
There's more than one boss in the demo.
There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
Jesus
bosses.
Christ.
That's kind of like the goal of the demo, is to take out all the bosses, right?
Yeah, it is. And I 100% of the demo. Yeah,
I just didn't want to.
I realized. I mean,
I have a lot of other handhelds I'm playing right now.
So I didn't have a whole lot, and I just was like, I was having fun with it.
Well, let's revisit the game when it actually comes out, because of course we're basing this all on the demo. So
of course,
it'll be the game comes out I think February 7th.
Correct.
So that's kind of the first major release of the year for us, I think.
I don't know how big it's gonna be, but there's like an AR card system
that
I kind of played with.
That's the one where you looked at that girl's skirt.
Yeah.
No, I looked down her throat.
Whoa! Whoa, God.
No one's got weird tastes.
But the thing was, like, there's this like AR thing, and it looks really good. Like, it looks good, but I was having issues with it because I was casting when I did it, and so my DS was tethered to my computer, and so like I was at this weird angle, and I tried to back up, and it made it worse. And there was this like AR character, one of the characters from the game that came out, and she was giving this whole monologue about things, and it looked really good. You saw it, Nick.
Oh, yeah, it looked great.
Like it. Just physically, the AR looked good, but the thing is, it's just since it was tethered to my computer and I couldn't move it the way I wanted.
You ended up in her throat.
Yeah, pretty much. I took a picture of it. I probably have. I think I have the picture on my DS because I think I saved
Let's see that
it.
throat. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's move on. We'll revisit Bravely Default. We'll actually probably, I would assume we'll probably do that for maybe a new release Tuesday when it comes out, because that's gonna be pretty big. I'm super excited about playing it.
I think that'd be boring to broadcast.
Maybe
The
it's like,
beginning
what
of a
else is
Final
coming out
Fantasy
that
game.
week?
Yeah, that's true.
You never know. I mean, that's kind of what new release Tuesday is for. It doesn't have to be good necessarily. It just has to be new.
There's this. That's down. If you can see her mouth, that's her teeth.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God, I want to see what.
Dude, we need to find.
Whoa.
Okay. There's some big new release Tuesdays coming out.
There are.
Octodad's coming out at the end of the month.
Dad
And I believe, I don't know the day for sure, but Towerfall is coming out for PC very soon. That's going to be another Nidhogg Samurai Gun Night.
Yeah.
So
Isn't the one that started on the Ouya that everyone said was great?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That one.
Yeah. It's like Samurai Gun, but bow and arrows.
Mhm.
And you can catch arrows.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like crazy game types and stuff.
Cool.
Can't wait.
So another game that's released since we did our last show has been The Walking Dead
Mhm.
season
2, episode 1.
episode 1. Obviously the first of 5 episodes being released by Telltale. I think everyone here except for Nolan's played that.
Yup.
So we'll avoid spoilers per se.
Always when talking about this game.
Yeah, but there's been some mixed reactions to it. And I kind of want to just kind of get what y'all think so far, because obviously I didn't think the first episode of the original season of Walking Dead was particularly.
The first season 1, episode 1 of Walking Dead is the worst out of the whole series, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I would agree.
Personally, I don't think that it's the
I don't-
worst, but it's definitely
I don't want
the
to say
least impactful.
Exactly. It's
That's
not
not fair, though.
It's
I
not the
mean-
worst. Hold
You're
on.
not attached
But
to
that's
the
what I'm
characters
saying.
yet.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that is the major thing that you notice right away different between the first episode of season 2 and the first episode of season 1. Is that season 1, they were still kind of easing players into the whole idea of like what the game was going to be like, how it was even going to control who the characters were and stuff like that before they really started like a lot of the stuff that we talk about, like those moments where you're having to like ration food amongst the camp, like that doesn't happen until episode 2.
Yeah.
Well, so are you doing that in season 2 episode?
No, not that specifically, but season 2 episode 1 starts and within like 5 minutes it's already back to where
Well,
it
that's
was
just
before,
because
as
season
far
1,
as-
episode 1 is introducing everything.
Well, no, not just that. Episode 1 of the first season was also very much still kind of an adventure game. Like you're doing point and click adventure game stuff, like the stuff you did in the older Telltale games, stuff that really isn't all that interesting or fun to do. Later episodes just became more of these interactive narrative experiences where you're making choices.
But-
There's not a lot of exploration,
But once again,
interacting
they
with
couldn't-
items.
They
Season
couldn't have
1
that in the first episode, just because. I mean, hey, ration out this food. You don't really care. I mean, I'm saying just because you had no attachment to the characters in the first episode.
Well,
I think that's
that
why
was episode 2 when
some
you
of
rationed out
that-
this up.
I'm saying that's why it wasn't in
there
episode
was like
1.
quote unquote puzzle solving, if you will, of like get this right item so you can interact with this, the truck or whatever. I'm saying episode 1 of season 2 is very much along the lines of like the last couple of episodes of season 1.
Well,
I feel like where there's some light, item management and stuff, but it's mostly just narrative and making decisions and whatnot.
Yeah, but
Which
I mean, there are still
that's good because that's one of the reasons I didn't like episode 1.
There are
Season
still a
1,
couple of
episode
those
1.
like open areas where you're just like running around clicking on things. But you're right. The puzzle quote unquote element of
Gone.
you know, trying to get this item to do this thing, to get this item to do this thing, is there. But I mean, there's not like, I mean, you know what you're doing at all times.
Mhm.
There's not much really to figure out.
So because in season 1, you know, Brad was saying when you're behind the pharmacy or whatever, and like you can do multiple things, interact with one item with multiple things, but if you do it the wrong way, it'll get messed up. So you're gonna have to find the right way to do it. It's less complicated now, or
You just don't do that stuff anymore.
It's not that it's less complicated. It's that like,
you just don't do that stuff anymore.
I mean,
You
so-
know, remember in the first episode, you had to like unscrew the back of some fucking radio and find the batteries and put the batteries
The
in
kind of
right.
stuff, like the kind of stuff that there are sequences in this game where they give you more like, I guess what you would say like visceral control of what's happening, but they use it as they pretty much use it exclusively as like emotional punctuation. It's like it's always when you're doing something fucking horrible and they want to make you feel
they
it.
want to
Like,
be intense.
Oh my god, I just remember
There's a few things that you do like that you're just like, fuck, I don't want to be doing this.
my
like,
brain had completely blocked out one of these scenes in episode 1 that Crispy just saying that just instantly brought it flooding back into my mind, and
so
I wish
there's not much of a okay. So again, we're not going to get into spoilers or anything, but
holy shit!
There is a sequence where you have to get 3 items to advance the story, and you have to sneak around this house to do it. But there's really only 3 rooms you can go in the house, and each room has one of the items you need.
Yeah.
So it's not like, you know, the whole like gameplay aspect of it, as far as like puzzle solving and like finding clues and things like that, that's not really what's going on here. They bring back the idea of like these split-second emotional decisions with a fucking vengeance. Like,
Are there any giant quarters in this game?
No.
no giant quarters yet. I see what you did there.
That aggravated me.
was a pocket
to
knife.
no extent.
It's not a giant pocket knife.
No, but the quarter was giant.
You know, there was one moment, obviously, once again, I'm not going to say specifically what I'm talking about for sake of spoilers, but I will say there was one moment where I thought I had kind of figured out what... Because, you know, going into this season, I was kind of like, well, obviously, we have one of the major characters from season 1 returning, the other one is not. And I was like, where's the emotional, like, what's going to be the hook here that gets you? And there was like one moment where I was like, oh... I think I see what they're doing here. I said it, and then I was wrong. I was just like, they ripped like
that. That's the other thing too. Is like,
yeah, you're right. It made me cry.
You can tell. You can.
God damn it, Brad.
Get it out.
Nick, what system did you buy this on?
PlayStation 3. The only reason I did that is because that's what I played season 1 on, and I wanted to carry over my decisions.
That pissed me off too, because I got it on the Xbox. I obviously would rather play it on the PC because it looks so much nicer and it doesn't run like shit.
Yeah.
But
I'm playing it on 360.
on PC, you have to buy it all at once.
Yeah.
I will say this,
and I hate that because I can't.
And the PC price too, like now
it's not $5 an episode.
No,
you have to buy all $25 up.
Yeah, so you have to spend $25. But the whole idea is like they sell it to you as a season pass, but unlike the Xbox version or the PS3 version, you're not saving any money whatsoever.
Yeah, I know that. That's the frustrating part. So I mean, got it on
it's not even like
I'm so mad at it, but they had it on Steam sale for like
$17 or something.
Yeah, something like that. I'm so mad at it.
About the story though, like one thing that is kind of striking me, and I'm having a little bit of a hard time shaking this, is that they know that the reason that the first season did so well was because of the emotional impact of the story. That was pretty much the universal praise of that game, was the emotional nature of the story, right?
Yeah.
It's gotten to a point now where they're trying so hard to maintain that tone and that pace that it has this weird ebb and flow of like, oh look, Clem's out of danger, and hey look, a slight little moment of respite, only to just like they will give you things intentionally so that they can take them away from you, and it becomes really obvious like where the story's going. Like those moments where she's out of danger and they finally have like she has a nice like little introspective like contemplative moment, more so than you would have been before. Even you're kind of just like cringing because you're like, no, what is this? Like what do you just do it? Like whatever you're gonna do, just fucking do it already.
No, see, that's the thing is I had almost it's been so long since I played the first season. That's kind of what I had forgotten. as just how they did that. And then there's one particular moment in this game where they give you something, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then they just take it away.
I feel like this. I feel like they're lacking a little subtlety here.
They really are.
So
they really, really are. And everything, like, it's to the point where it's borderline, like, unbelievable. I mean, I get it. It's the zombie apocalypse. The world's gone to shit. Everything's fucking terrible. I get that. But, like, at no point in this game do they give you any sort of, like, emotional quarter whatsoever. Everything is just bad to worse to worse to worse to worse. And I don't, like, what the fuck is episode 5 gonna be like? Like,
I feel, I'm hoping.
Well, episode 5 last season was pretty fucked.
I mean, I'm hoping that.
But there was a huge sense of escalation between episode 1 and episode 5 of season 1. They're starting off way the fuck up here. Like, where's it going to escalate to? Or is it just going to be 5 episodes of them beating the shit out of your feelings?
I think Clem's not going to make it through. I don't think you're going to be playing.
I don't even think it matters if Clem makes it through anymore.
No, well, sure, but I'm saying they're going to raise the stakes because I think they feel they need to.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is that them trying to raise the stakes emotionally almost kind of negates the whole point of it, because everything you're expecting the worst to happen at all times, so you kind of become numb to it. You know, you kind of like it doesn't matter. Like you know, somebody does something terrible, and you're like, oh. There's a shocker. Wasn't expecting that. You know,
I mean, the show suffers from the same thing, though.
Yeah.
No, we're not talking about the show.
I hated Duck.
Oh, dude, there's a part you would like then in this game where.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you get to beat up a kid?
No, it's
Wait, what are you talking about?
In the very beginning,
oh,
with the campfire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To I guess to wrap up this conversation, we need to move on. I will say that I still really like Clem as a character.
No, she's great.
Yes.
Because she's really she's funny in really corny ways.
What is cool about her this time around too is how different she is.
She's a little bit older.
Yeah, but she still has her really corny like delivery that she does sometimes.
Yeah. Some of the dialogue choices can be a little like.
Like there were a few there were a few dialogue choices, and I noticed this that maybe it wasn't as noticeable last season, or maybe it was still there. I'm not sure, but there were several choices in this episode that I was like, I would never choose. Clem would never choose these. Like Clem would never say that, so I'm obviously not going to choose that. And if you're the kind of person who's really invested in the characters in those stories, you're never going to choose those options. Like there were a few times where it gave me like 3 choices, and to me there was only one logical answer.
Viable choice.
There's no way anyone who knows this character would ever choose the other two.
There is some interesting choices though later in that episode if you make some of the more, like, morally sinister choices.
So hold on,
Clem's shift in character, like when you make some of those like kind of borderline moral choices, like are really actually
that
interesting.
Can pull you out though.
Yes,
because Clem would never do that.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
That's not.
So in season 1, you play as Lee.
Yeah.
And Lee's a person. Like, he has character. He has a backstory.
Mm-hmm.
But when I played it making my own decisions. I didn't think, oh, Lee would do this. I thought, this is what the Lee I'm controlling is going to do.
Yeah, but now...
And I had to live with those choices, and some of them I instantly regretted.
Oh, yeah.
True.
You're gonna make choices that you regret in this game.
The situation that's why it's different now is that in season 1, you're now playing as a character that you saw developing as a result of your choices in season 1. Mm-hmm. So your choices in season 1 affected how Clem grew up, and now, assuming you're carrying over your choices from season 1,
right?
The character that you're playing as is the character that you kind of created in the first one. But so you know your character.
There is a oh, sorry, I can't say. Here's the thing, I forgot. There is a significant time gap between the two. It's 16 months, I believe, from the end of episode 1 to from the end of episode 5 to season 2, episode 1.
That's almost enough time for 2 pregnancies.
Almost enough time for 2. Oh, dude, don't even.
Yeah,
just don't even. Anyway,
I haven't played it. Apparently something.
But like, it's not unreasonable that Clementine would be just a completely different character.
Yeah, a lot could have happened that you didn't see.
Especially since most of the events that define her character were the events of the last game, which, I mean, if you play that, you know how quickly that all turns to shit.
Yeah.
And again, this episode picks it, like, starts shoveling the shit on.
Speaking of
right
shoveling
away.
shit, I mean, so at the end of the episode, you make a decision, like a choice, right? And me and Malia are playing together, and apparently we were not paying attention while we were like talking to each other about a decision we were trying to make, but we missed like a very quick thing that happened that would have probably informed us into a different decision if we had seen it. And chat was like, "Well, you didn't see the thing. You should have seen the thing." We made maybe an uninformed decision, but the thing with The Walking Dead is, and this episode reminded me, I'm going to eat shit no matter what. So it doesn't really fucking matter like who I went with at the end of that episode, because at the end of the day, I'm eating shit. So who gives a shit? Right?
Exactly. And I had a specific moment like that in episode 1 as well, where I made an informed decision just based on the tendencies of Walking Dead, the series, you know?
Yeah.
For example, there's a moment where Clem has a scene with another character and kind of has a chance to form like kind of a bond with that character and be really nice and like, oh, hey, well, you know, we're going to be friends, blah, blah, blah. I intentionally was just like, fuck you. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I'm leaving, because I knew that the second they offer this character is like, oh, hey, this person can be your friend. Oh, great. So you can kill her next episode or 2 episodes from now. Like, I know where this is fucking going. I don't want to be anybody's friend. Like,
it makes you very cynical about
it
the
does make you
experience.
incredibly cynical about the choices that you make. Like,
Welcome to The Walking Dead.
Okay, let's move on. We'll talk more about it as the episodes roll out. I still had a great time with it.
oh yeah.
I finished the episode, and despite maybe not being my favorite episode so far, I was like, I'm gonna buy the season pass. Boom.
Well, it
Done.
definitely, as compared to season, like we were saying, as compared to season 1 or episode 1 of season 1, it definitely gets its hooks in you really quickly.
Yeah.
I played the whole thing in one sitting, and it only felt like an hour or 2.
It's got my attention.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Brad,
Yes.
there's a handheld RPG you've been playing lately that you'd like to talk about. Am I correct in assuming?
Yes. East Memories of Falsetta.
Valkyria Chronicles 3.
Do we have a thing?
We do. We have a thing.
All right, so I guess I have to talk about Valkyria Chronicles 3.
You'll have a chance to bring up.
I've
other
been
ones.
playing Valkyria Chronicles 3. If you know me, you know that the original Valkyria Chronicles is one of my favorite games of last generation. I absolutely
Hell,
adore
that
it.
was the one year in our history since we started that everyone in the room had the same game of the year.
Because it's a good game. Now, the second one came out on PSP, and it was very sad because the original was on PS3. And one of the problems with the handheld version of Valkyria Chronicles, and this part carries over almost literally, directly, in fact, and I'll explain that in a second, is that the battles, because I guess, you know, how much RAM or whatever the PSP has, it just, they can't have these large scale battle maps that the original had, which was great because in the original you had, you know, it gave you a sense of scope,
Yeah.
which is important, I think, in a war game, and just it gave you a sense of like really elaborate map design. Because of the nature of it being on a handheld, the battles are now separated up into like 3 like mini maps, if you will, and it usually involves your team capturing a camp at the end of one map, and that unlocks the camp on the next map, and you can deploy your guys from that next map, and that sort of way of chopping up the battles, you know, again, it's a bummer because it kind of reduces that sense of scope, identity to the map layouts as well. You know, so the battles just aren't as memorable, and that carries over from 2 to 3. Now, when I said literally, there are maps, and I looked it up. Valkyria Chronicles 3 came out a year after Valkyria Chronicles 2, and there are a lot of differences, and I'll talk about those. But I will say that it is very unfortunate. There are literally some of the same maps from Valkyria Chronicles 2 in Valkyria Chronicles 3, like literally some of the same maps, not even like dressed up differently, and that's just a huge bummer to me. I don't know why it's like that, but one of the problems with Valkyria Chronicles 2 is you had to do lots of like grinding and play like battles over and over and over again. So the fact that I'm seeing some of those maps again when I played them in Valkyria Chronicles 2, I played them like a dozen times plus. It's just a huge bummer. The good news is a lot of the grinding you did, like structurally, this is a very different game than Valkyria Chronicles 2. They kind of go back to how it was in the original Valkyria Chronicles, where
that.
it was a linear story where it would start a chapter, you'd watch like a cutscene, and then there'd be like a story battle. But occasionally there'd be like little optional battles that you can do to kind of level up your characters. Valkyria Chronicles 2 was completely different. It had this whole like calendar system where, you know, during a month you could do so many battles and you're doing them over and over again. There's like a story battle, but you're trying to improve your ranks on it. It was just very, very different structurally. And it really, you had to grind a lot because changing classes in the second Valkyria Chronicles, you had to get these fucking like medals that appeared randomly after battles. So you would do battles over and over again thinking, I just want to make my dude, level him up and make him a fucking sniper, but I can't because I don't have this medal for this specific character. And it was super frustrating.
They really just appear randomly?
At the end of battle, yeah, they would more or less show up randomly, like what characters would get what awards, you know, which is super fucking frustrating.
Weird.
Maddening, actually. So you had to grind a bunch. That's all gone. It's back to the original Valkyria Chronicles structurally, where you watch cutscenes and then you do story battles, but you can do these optional battles. So it looks like there's a lot more optional battles to grind up your characters, but like it's really nice that it's back to how it was in the original game. But the good news is it still has a lot of the improvements that the second one had. The second one actually introduced a lot of really smart and just really cool systems that this game still retains, but it streamlines it a little bit. Now you can any character can switch to any class at any time, like right before a battle, which is great because now I can like find all my favorite characters and just and especially because they have like potentials where if this character's around this character in battle, they'll get like bonuses and stuff.
That was in the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah. That's in the first one, but now because you can make any class like any character, any class really easily. Like I can have situations where in this battle, I want my engineer to stay with my tank, but I can make my engineer a character that is really compatible with the dude who drives the tank, for example.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to kind of cultivate these in battle relationships.
You couldn't change classes at all in the first one, could you?
No.
Like every character was just that.
But in the second one they introduced it, but it was a huge pain in the ass.
Like there would be characters like when I was playing it that were really interesting that I really liked, but I didn't really get a chance to use them that much because like let's say they were a sniper and I was only taking one sniper and I had one who stat wise.
So now I'm rolling around with a full squadron of ladies because that's what I do. And then I have one like ladies man, and he synergizes with like all the ladies.
Did you
pretty
name
much.
Him Brad?
No, I can't.
What was the name of that character we all loved in the first one?
Was it the John DiMaggio character?
Oh,
Jan.
Flamboyant one.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love Jan.
Cool. He could go another round.
As a lancer.
So
yeah,
lance.
I will say that if you have like a mod at PSP, maybe consider playing it. It's so one of the
get it like a lance, like a dick.
like Valkyria Chronicles 2 really did kind of improve. Like all your classes level up, but they branch and can become multiple classes. And there's so many more classes in Valkyria Chronicles 2 and 3 than there were in the first one. Like one of them is classes called the Armor Tech, which has a big shield and a giant fucking like hammer or like a giant wrench, and they're like a fucking melee class, which is cool, right? But they can level up, and you can get a fucking sword, or you can get like a giant wrench or whatever and they specialize in certain areas. But I really like the Armor Tech class in this one because their giant shield, they walk around and it's literally the gunfire is just bouncing off your fucking shield, but at the end of your turn you place down your shield and it expands into like a giant like piece of cover,
like a barricade.
Like a barricade that you can't actually take cover behind, but because Valkyria Chronicles, like everything's very physical, so like if your reticle, if that's in the way of your reticle, you just can't shoot through it. So you could totally have these moments where your Armor Tech, who could just fucking like is a tank and suck up bullets, walks right up to a shock trooper who's like a very strong machine gun class, drop the shield down and like open it up, and then just kind of run up behind that Armor Tech with the scout while you're kind of hiding behind that shield and toss a grenade over it,
So
like
cool.
at the shock trooper. Like it allows for these like tactical things that you didn't have before, that you couldn't do in the original. It just feels like a much deeper tactical game, and it's just unfortunate that this has the limitations that the second one had. It's on a PSP, so it doesn't have those big giant elaborate maps that the first one had, and that's really kind of the biggest bummer here.
I'm watching in chat as you're slowly convincing Zach to play this game, because if he started out was like, oh, I guess I don't feel bad about playing the second and third one.
Yeah.
And now he's like, that sounds awesome.
The main frustration with 2 is gone.
Yeah.
It still, again, has that big bummer, but it's still definitely Valkyria Chronicles, and it's super fucking fun. Like,
Is the story
just the
still
core
pretty good?
strategy.
'Cause I remember the first one having a fantastic.
The first one had a good story. The second one was very kind of anime. Everyone's in
It's like
school.
they're in a high school,
lot
right?
of cliches. Kind of one like a.
Well, it's
Army-
a military
military
academy. But I
academy,
mean,
yeah.
for all intents and purposes, it's like
So the third
an
one is a
anime
lot
high
more
school.
serious and a lot darker than the second one for sure, and probably even the first one. I think there was a lot of backlash about the tone of the second one.
Yeah.
So they sort of counteracted that. There's still some, characters who are kind of light, but everything's pretty dour.
But
I mean,
it's like
just
Does
real
the
quick.
do the Darksons play a
Yeah.
role?
Real quick, the synopsis is you play their main character who's like this awesome military like strategist who has a huge future in the military, and he's gonna become a super he's gonna become a colonel someday because he's a badass, right? But he accidentally, when he's going to meet like the commander or whatever, the highest up person, like accidentally bumps into this dude who's supposed to be carrying like a letter for the commander, and he picks it up and he's like, oh, this guy dropped it. This guy dropped this, and he hands it to the commander, and he's like, here. But the commander's like, well, I don't know if he opened up that letter. I can't take any chances. So he demotes, or he doesn't just demote him. He puts him in this squadron called like the Nameless, which is like basically a squad for like criminals, like war criminals.
penal
and stuff.
squad.
Penal squad, exactly. Yeah. So now this bright cadet who had this huge future is now commanding this penal squad of a bunch of like fuck ups, but obviously.
Penal fuck ups with lances.
Yeah,
Penal squad.
and it kind of goes from there. So, but again, it's pretty fucking dark. They're like, oh, our former squad leader just died, and we all hate you. You have to. No, that's exactly what it is. So I'm definitely gonna keep playing it. I'm broadcasting it.
We hate you.
I'll be playing it more on the feed, probably some Thursday, among many other things.
Man, I want to play this.
But
All right.
it's good. It's better than 2 from what I can tell so far.
Okay. So before we wrap up the first segment, God damn it, Nolan.
I'm sorry.
So before we wrap up this first segment, I just want to give everyone an opportunity to anything else you want to bring up and say a few things about before we cut to break. Anything else y'all been playing?
I mean,
just a bunch of Dark Souls.
yeah,
Yeah.
Crispy and I have been playing a bunch of Dark Souls
It's so
in
hard to
preparation
wrangle
for
them
Dark Souls
together
2.
at dinner and get them to stop talking
Not
about
talk
Dark
about
Souls.
Dark
I mean, we're both getting really into it. I mean, we're about the same place.
Yeah, I mean, we're after the Lord Vessel section
Correct.
and doing the
But the thing
four
is,
Lord Souls.
Every time I play this game, there's more and more and more and more and more I didn't know was there.
Oh my god, there's just so many subtleties and intricacies to this game. Like, you learn something new every fucking
What's
time.
it called? That fucking lake area, that secret. I guess that's pretty late in the game, so maybe you're
Ash
doing it
Lake
for
or
Ash
whatever?
Lake.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet. I know of it.
Oh, like the snowy area, but it's not snow.
No,
It's
that's the painted in the painted.
Oh, the
world.
painted world.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
The painted
Like,
world.
oh my
No,
god,
no, no,
there's
no,
so
the
much in this
painted-
game. I don't even know is
The
there.
painted world's crazy. That's in Anne Orlando. There's, that one
Have you
room
gone
with
to
the
Anne
giant
Orlando yet?
portrait
Yeah,
at the end
With
of the
all the
hall.
assassins?
You
Yeah.
can go into that portrait,
God.
and it's a
It is
world.
fucking beautiful too.
God.
It's crazy.
Like I said, there's so much in this game.
You got to do that.
Like physical locations that I don't know are there. Like, I feel every time I play this game, I feel like I've already met the boundaries of how big it is, but there's still something more I find.
The Four Kings, dude. What a clusterfuck of a
Yeah.
goddamn
Dude,
boss.
and what's fucked up about that boss too, which I found out the hard way, is that if you take too long to beat it,
Yeah.
it just keeps spawning those
Yeah.
things. There isn't 4 of them.
yeah,
I swear to
Wait,
God.
more than 4?
I thought there was 4.
No, I swear to God. Like, they'll keep respawning back in if you take too long to kill all 4 of them. Because, like, once one spawns, it starts a timer for, like,
How do you even
30
survive long
seconds or
enough to
something
get to
like
that
that,
point?
or a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know, but, like, it's
I've killed
fucked up.
one. But anyway, I've been playing that a little bit,
It's really
and
fun.
also just because it's January, it's not July, as January. Brad and I have been playing NLH, our subscriber of the month game, which is Final Fantasy 12.
Oh shit!
We'll have a podcast for that.
We will, I know.
Yeah. So
NLH 28 whatever. He's not going to be on that podcast.
Yeah.
speaking of
But
Final Fantasy,
I'm
though,
fine with having it and talking about it.
I just
yeah,
want to go
so
ahead and
that-
let everybody know now that I am mere days away from finishing Final Fantasy 13.
Yay!
I've played about 15 hours in the past
Can
week or so of 13.
And it's been completely
you-
enjoyable. Or?
that's well, you know what?
Alright.
You know what?
Let me be completely
I
honest.
have another.
This is a confession
No.
that I'm totally willing to make because otherwise I would not finish this game.
Final Fantasy 13 is stupid.
I have the strategy guide. I had the strategy guide for my days at GameStop, and I was like, I busted that shit out, and
To the letter.
just opening up to the point where I was before. Like I was like, oh man, see if it helps a little bit. I read something and I was like, I didn't even know you could fucking do that, and it just fucking opened up. Like it made all these things that were so hard for me the first time just super easy. It's like, all right, I'm gonna keep rolling with this. So I got to a point where like I was in a boss fight for like 45 minutes the other day, and it was rough, but like there was no threat of me like dying or anything like that. So I'm where I should be, and I'm in the second to last chapter. I'm pretty sure the last chapter is basically just the final boss. So I got to get to this one last chapter and then do it.
Nick.
So
Final Fantasy 13. Whatever. Hey. You haven't said anything. Can you briefly describe your experience with Persona 4?
I can.
Are you enjoying it?
I am
or
enjoying it.
How far?
I've played about 7 or 8
how do you
hours.
feel
this
about-
month.
He likes when the girls wear their undesirables.
Yeah.
Undesirable.
There's this one part where the girl said she's wearing her what is it, unmentionables?
Unmentionables.
And I said undesirables. And I was like, wait a second, that doesn't make any
Freudian
sense
slip.
at all. Yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I had like that intro to that game is like to the point where from the point where you start it to the point where you get to where it's like, okay, the game has started and you can like
Yeah,
level up your
it takes a
characters
long
and
time.
grind. It's like 4 hours.
That's
or
what I was
something
saying. The same thing with 3. 3's pretty slow to start, but once you get into it, it gets good fast.
I'm starting to kind of figure out how this persona thing works and how you can combine personas. And
I love
I had
combining
this like fabulous pony.
No, the best part. No, the best part is you just pick 2 and it makes a random persona or whatever. It picks one and it kind of shows you a still of it. And I was there when Nick combined them, and it's a still, and we thought it was just like a horse rearing back, but it's actually kind of like not like a centaur, but it's kind of like a half man, half horse. And like when he combined them and made him, it kind of did this flare of like and like these like rainbows and shit, and it's like this like fabulous horse.
Wait, it's actually called a fabulous.
No, it's called what is it? He has an attack though that's called like a something slap or something. Is it
Fabulous slap?
It might be called fabulous. It's something
Slapulous?
like yeah, exactly.
Oh,
What are your opinions on the?
What'd
on
they
the-
say?
Someone said it's like a fabulous pink pony
Yeah.
according to Biopower, and it's
Yeah.
true. And I love that persona. I'm probably gonna keep it as long as I can.
Well,
No, you won't.
No,
that's
probably
not how
you
Persona works.
get rid of them pretty
you know,
quick.
I've sort of kept it to like Twitter rants, and I'm not going to bring it up here, but I'm not a huge fan of these games,
Okay.
and I've gone into many details as to why. But I'm curious, what are your opinions on just like the structure of the game? Of like, you know, you can only do so much in a day, and you got to do these things certain days, because that's one of the things
It
that I
might be
really
too early
don't
for me
like
to-
about it.
It
But
might
some
be
people
too early
really
to
like
tell. I think I like it. Like I said, I've only been in that kind of that structure for a short amount of time, but like that was kind of the stuff that I liked about Catherine. How you would spend a certain portion at the end of your day in the bar talking to people and like taking care of the social aspects of the game, and that stuff I really like. And I want to get more into that and see how these relationships develop and all
Just
that stuff.
as let you know for the future, you don't get sexts in this game.
I know.
Oh.
Not like Catherine.
They're like high school kids. That'd be weird, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a high school kid in the game.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
let's,
so that
let's,
makes sense.
let's
That
be
makes
honest.
sense.
These are
Kosher.
high school kids, but when you see them in like cutscenes, these are not high school kids.
Well, they're Japanese anime.
Yeah.
High school kids.
They're like, so in reality, they're like 20. They're like my
I just-
age.
See, like
they're their 20s.
This is one of those like intimidating series for me. Like I'm not huge into
You're
RPGs.
worried you're gonna just start
so I would never.
masturbating?
No. I just mean like this isn't. this just seems like so Japanese and so JRPG
It's pretty
that I don't know
Japanese.
if I could ever really get into it.
It's actually
So
very
when you
different than-
when you sit there and say like, oh, I think I like it, I'm imagining like sitting there playing it, going like, huh, I think I'm having fun. I think I might be having fun right now, guys. I'm gonna check the calendar. Oh.
No, so I've never played 4, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah.
But I played 3 almost to completion. That's one of those things that's on my list that it's like, hey, why didn't you complete that? I'm right at the end. But I mean, in 3, there was a pretty good story. I mean, yes, you do have, like Brad was saying, every day you have, like, if it's a weekday, you go to school. After school, you only have so much time. You can basically do one thing and then go to, like, the dark world or
It's
whatever.
not time. It's like turn-based.
Yeah,
you can only
it's-
do one thing.
It's turn-based.
actions,
Yeah, so
yeah.
you have X amount of actions to take during the day. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter that it's homework, and homework would only take me in high school like 30 minutes to an hour.
Homework,
But
do you get stronger in battles?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can. You can upgrade.
yes,
You
yes.
get stat
Dude,
boosts.
Every task in the game improves something.
Wow.
So be it doing homework, be it sleeping, be it hanging out with a certain group of friends, whatever, it will boost something. So yes, there are ways to focus on certain tools. But in 3,
This
I'm just
goofy ass
I
face
don't
on Crispy.
know, man. I get what you're saying. I'm just wondering like what the thought about like if they were like, oh, I want a turn-based RPG, but I want it to focus around being a teenager.
Yeah, I mean,
Talking
it's
to
like-
girls.
I don't like.
It's
I
all
just,
about
it
the
just
Yuki
seems so
challenge.
disparate to me. Like I don't. Like why is like talking to girls and doing your homework and hanging out with friends at the mall? Why does that tie into?
it's not like it takes up time though. Doing your homework isn't like,
no,
oh,
no,
I'm just
no,
sitting
I
here
know,
and do it.
I know.
It's just,
I just
It does
it's just
make
an
your
odd,
stuff stronger though.
What I'm saying is, it's just an odd. To me, it seems like an odd trappings for like a set of game systems.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you know, obviously, like
It's
you could.
unique. That's why people.
yeah,
like it.
that's the thing. And no one ever
No,
really
and I
did
get
something
that,
like
and I understand that there is a very devoted fan base to this game, and I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm not saying that I wouldn't like it. This is another one of those things like we talked about Animal Crossing last week. Like I kind of just have a hard time wrapping my head around.
You know what's
Mhm.
great about Persona? The writing is really good.
It
The
is.
characters are really good. There's so much character development.
Oh, the
You just kind of fall in love with the world and the characters.
None of that bullshit. It's all about the Yuki challenge.
No, but that's my point. Like the stuff that's really great that people fall in love with is the stuff that I think is really great too.
Mhm.
Like is the thing that it makes me mad that I don't like this game because I want to experience that story with these characters, but I hate the structure. I don't like the battle system.
Mhm.
I hate the fucking fusion system. I think the dungeons are like kind of
They're
repetitive
very-
and
no,
uninspired.
That's
you
think that's what I
no,
think might
the
get me
dungeons
eventually.
are repetitive
Yeah.
and uninspired. I
Yeah,
will
for
definitely
sure.
agree with that.
I mean, sometimes they have cool themes, but
Mhm.
they're just like
Random
randomized floor after
running.
floor
well,
after
it's
floor.
randomized floors with new skins.
It's
I mean,
it's like if anyone played Dark Cloud 1.
Mm.
yeah.
Where every level of those dungeons looked the same. It was randomized maps, and that's kind of what the same thing here. And but I played all the way through that game. I think this, if anything, that's what's going to wear on me more than anything else. In the
But
game.
I'm saying for some people, the stuff that's really good, like the writing and the characters, outweighs all that stuff. But for me, combined with the fact that I'm kind of OCD about the structure and it just doesn't
Right.
gel well with me, I just can't do it.
Well, as a fellow like novice to the whole Persona thing, are you finding 4 to be a good introductory experience?
Yeah, it's the best way.
You know,
Actually-
not 3?
there's no. I mean,
I think, 4's the most loved.
there's nothing
I
about
think
this
at this
game
point-
that makes me feel like I should have played 3 first.
Mhm.
From what I
So I've never played 4. I've only played 3. So I don't really know.
Well, the stories don't really carry through.
Oh,
do they?
no,
It's like
they're-
the same basic structure, but like
Yeah.
different characters.
maybe get it
Yes.
with 5.
Yeah. 5?
Dude, I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Comes up-
making 5. Yeah.
yeah.
That's what everyone's freaking out about.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I was like, this would be a good time for me to go ahead and start one.
4. Yeah.
So, anyways, I'll play more of that. I'm going to be broadcasting again on the feed, I think, on Friday from about 7 to 11 or so. I'll play
I
a
hope so.
couple more hours of Persona. Yeah, we hope so if we can get that fucking problem fixed. Anyways,
Yeah.
anything else small you want to... We need to cut the break here in a second. Anything else you want to bring up small?
Nick.
Nope. I'm going to go ahead and... I'm going to go... I gave you 2 seconds. Oh, God damn. I gave you 2 seconds. You-
Give me
you
30,
missed your-
30 seconds
Nope.
to talk about East. All I'll say is that it's very much an East game. It's very reminiscent of East 7. I'm enjoying it, but it hasn't got its hooks in me. 7 kind of didn't get its hooks in me. I played a good chunk of it, but like this is no Oath and Felghana. I kind of hate the switching of characters system, but this one seems kind of aimless. You're just sort of like wandering around this forest, mapping it out. It's still that fast, furious gameplay that makes me keep going, but there's not too much to talk about with it. If you like East, you'll probably play it. If you don't, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. So
how's my Vita treating you?
That's good. I like the Vita.
She okay?
It has some strange quirks in terms of like the interface and stuff, but its battery life is not
the greatest.
Not great. But
What
it's a good little
handheld
system.
has a great battery life?
Not many.
Well, I mean, older ones had better battery lives than the 3DS and the Vita. Jeez.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Okay.
The Game Boy Micro had a pretty good battery life.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut to break. When we return, we'll cover a few news topics and do a chatter for the week, as we always do. Brad here is going to do a dramatic reading of IO Interactive's open letter to Hitman fans. Okay, it may not be a dramatic reading. I just like saying that. We'll talk about Nintendo's financial crisis and a few other things, so don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back.
All right.
Anyways, hey guys, welcome back to the show.
Dear Hitman.
No. Okay, maybe I should just let you roll with that. We're going to start with a topic that's kind of near and dear to Brad's heart. IO Interactive this week, the developers of Hitman, released an open letter to Hitman fans kind of regarding the currently
in development
sequel to Hitman Absolution, I suppose.
Which is great. Or a next-gen Hitman game.
A next-gen Hitman game, which is exciting in its own right, but I think
it's exciting.
There's a lot of details or interesting.
Just let me read it.
Just read the damn thing.
Dear Hitman fans, we wanted to share this open letter with all of you out there eagerly awaiting more news about what's happening next in the franchise. At IO Interactive right now, we are building the next-gen AAA Hitman game for the PC and next-gen consoles. It has our total focus, and we wanted to take a moment to tell you a few things about it. In the next game...
Wait, is this Hitman or Castlevania?
Hitman! I know. That's pretty
good question.
In the next game, you will experience a globe-trotting Agent 47 at the prime of his career, the apex predator stalking his prey across the world, with the support of his long-term handler Diana Burnwood, yada yada yada. The game concentrates on the core Hitman fantasy of using a wide range of tools to take out a diverse group of targets across expansive exotic locations around the world. We are building this game on the backbone of the Glacier 2 engine, using the best parts of what we have learned through Hitman Absolution, and drawing inspiration from past titles like Contracts and Blood Money to fulfill the core Hitman fantasy. That means we're packing in an extreme level of detail on the largest levels we have ever built for a Hitman game. We've adopted an open, non-linear level design approach to the game, ensuring the game will play out across huge, checkpoint-free sandbox levels. Our aim is to create a living, breathing, and believable levels, which will allow gamers to play around with the AI to create those unique moments every real fan of the Hitman franchise loves. Yada yada yada, Contracts mode's back, yada yada yada. Basically, it's saying, Brad, you were right. Hitman Blood Money is the best Hitman game.
Wait, so this
Absolution was shit, and we are going to do our best to make Hitman like Blood Money again.
My question is why is this new Hitman game being developed in Transylvania?
They just got some
3
new tax
Hitman games.
incentives.
4 Hitman games.
No, but I mean, I appreciate them kind of owning up to the fact that Absolution was shit.
Yes.
Because it was.
Wait, did they?
Yes. They pretty much fucking... Like,
They just
what
said,
they were
like,
describing was not Hitman Absolution at all.
No, but they're not saying like... But they're not saying it like, oh, hey, that was bad.
If you read it,
we're sorry, but we want to go back to this.
It's kind of an apology and a, hey, we're going to do this to make it better. If you read the letter.
I'm not saying we fucked up, but if we did, we're changing.
This is... They said, hey, maybe this is not going to be at all like Hitman Absolution. Maybe it's going to be like Blood Money, which is good.
Yeah.
No more escape the cops. You know, fuck Hitman Absolution, man. Can
I finally just get a Hitman game that I
also
want to play?
They use
please?
words like globetrotting and fantasy a bunch. Like seriously, which means what I'm hoping is they're going to go back to every level
It's completely different.
is completely different.
Like Blood Money.
Yeah, the
No
story
level
doesn't
anything
matter.
to do with each other.
The story doesn't matter. It's these places, and they're going to fit the story around these crazy
so I
places.
would say
to put Hitman levels.
I would say Contracts is more of a globe-trotting thing. In Contracts, you definitely... I mean, Blood Money, it's less globe-trotting. You're just kind of... It seems like you're all...
wait,
the point is they're very different
Yes,
areas.
Does Contracts have the level that's like the vampire rave?
No, that's Blood Money.
Is that in Blood Money?
Yeah, that's
It's
Blood Money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Contracts has like a party,
Yeah, it has like a party, that
But-
you go
but-
to.
but the one that's like the angel and hell.
Yeah,
fucking
are
rave-
you talking about the
No,
heaven and hell,
no.
or the crazy party with like there's like a big fat guy and then there's like
That's the one.
you shove a knife up a chicken's ass? That's Contracts.
That is Contracts.
Yeah.
Have you played Blood Money?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Blood Money's great.
Yeah, Blood Money was fun.
I am officially now back on board with Hitman.
You say that, and if
These are the right things for them to
yes,
say.
I agree. Those are the right words for them to use.
Yes.
Now, if they make a game off of those words, I will be excited. But if you recall, when they talked about Absolution, it sounded great. Some of the words they used, some of the things they showed us were great. But
It was
then-
what they choose to show us. This
Yeah,
is
well,
like
exactly.
straight up admitting maybe we made some bad choices in Absolution. We know y'all like the older ones better.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying. Which is good. Good news. Good
The
news.
only thing I liked about Absolution was the fucking conversation when I was hiding in the clothes bin. That was the only thing. I've said it on the podcast before, but I fucking loved it because I got caught and I ran away and I hid in like a clothes bin and I was peeking out and the guys walked around the corner with their guns drawn and they're all like, "We know you're in there." And then they just kind of stood there for a second and he's like, "All right, let's finish this. I want some tacos." And they all shot me. That was the only good part about that fucking game.
That's the thing.
Well, I mean,
Hitman's
writing.
always been at its best when it's leaning into that dark sense of humor,
Yeah.
which is great. Like it's at its best when it's funny.
No, it definitely was.
Always. So yeah. No, I have high hopes.
I agree.
When do you think we'll see this? I mean,
16?
there are. I mean, like see it. Like,
Oh, see it?
They're already-
Probably next year.
I mean, they're already willing to talk about it.
They're talking about a concept of what they want to do. I doubt. I mean, which engine did they say they're using?
Glacier 2,
Glacier 2 that's not the one from Absolution, is it?
I think it
I
is.
don't know what Glacier 2 is.
I don't know. So I mean, if they're making it with the same engine, yeah, I could see it being done faster. But if this is a different engine, I don't see us even seeing it until next year.
I mean, the engine
when
they
did
use for
Absolution come out? 2012.
2012.
Yeah, the thing is, I think the engine they used for Absolution was a fine engine
Yeah,
to use.
no. I don't care if they use the same engine. That's fine with me. I mean, if they've been working on it for a while, then yeah, I would definitely see us seeing it this year. But I mean, this is the first we've heard of it,
Yeah.
so maybe we'll see like a glimpse of it. But I mean,
this is probably a 2015 game at best. So, but I mean, you got to remember, IO Interactive had been working on other stuff in between, like Blood Money and
I would hope
Absolution.
so.
They had been working on the Kane and Lynch games,
Yeah.
2 of them, and Mini Ninjas.
Mhm.
So it's not like, and I know they've definitely like reduced their staff, their company some. So I'm guessing that all they probably have left is the Hitman team,
And Vunic does say that Glacier 2 is the engine they used to build Absolution.
which
Okay.
is a fine,
fine engine.
not the most optimized engine, but it was good.
Cool. So let's go ahead and move on to Nintendo. So you
it's a
have,
pretty good company, right?
yeah, it's a great company. I love
They've been
Nintendo.
around for a while.
Who doesn't love Nintendo?
And you know what?
Smart
Top
people.
10 of last year, Wonderful 101, Zelda, Mario, Fire Emblem,
Pikmin was
Luigi.
on mine.
Pikmin was
Luigi's
on mine.
Mansion.
Luigi's
They had some
Mansion.
good
They had
games.
some good games.
It was a great year for Nintendo last year. Unfortunately, that was not reflected. I'm sorry, and the Wonderful 101. Unfortunately, not very well reflected in their financial status.
Not so much.
So Nolan's got some numbers you'd like to read off, and then we can just kind of.
So just a couple of just some facts, some numbers. So December of 2013, Wii U sales
Of 2013 or
2013
Okay.
was the best month yet.
Hmm.
Really?
Yes. quotes, best month yet. But it also says that it was the lowest console hardware December sale since 2001.
Let me guess.
So the best month of Wii U sales is still
The worst
the worst
console.
holiday console sale.
Was that like the
They've-
last year of the 64 or the
Sound-
first year of the GameCube?
Sounds like it.
2000?
Yeah, 2001.
I think that was the first year of the GameCube. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So December of 2012 sales. Sorry, that's some of these numbers are a little confusing. It says Wii in 2012 was 472,000.
The regular Wii.
It
Wii
just
U.
says Wii. It doesn't say Wii U.
Okay.
Oh, in 2012?
That's what it says. I don't know. Some of these numbers are a little hard to read. Anyway, I'll get to the real stuff. So fiscal year 2013. So that's like March or
Last
April
April
of
to this
2012
12.
till whatever.
Wait. Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know.
no, fiscal.
it
No,
would
so,
be-
so it was like March or April of 2013 to March or April or whatever of
2014.
2014.
We're still in
That's
fiscal
all- I
2013.
fucking hate
We're,
that they
we're
do
still
that,
in
yeah.
fiscal 2013.
Correct for Nintendo.
Taxes.
So through November, they have sold 730,000 units.
Oh.
The lifetime to November sales, what is that like of all their consoles
What?
of the Wii U?
Thank you, Chris, for clarifying.
Okay, sorry. Lifetime sales of the Wii U through November is 4.16 million.
Which is bad.
Original fiscal year 2014 projection was 9 million.
Yikes.
8% of that has been fulfilled by November 30th.
Jesus.
They revised that projection to 2.8 million. Was their new projection.
So they went from 9.
They are 26% of the way to that.
They went from a projection of 9 to 2.8.
Correct.
Yeah. They're like, okay, maybe it's not going to sell that
I'm
well.
a little confused here. Do we
Let's
know how
talk-
many Wii U's are out there?
Not a lot.
Have been
So
sold?
from April to June, 160,000 units. From July to September, after the price drop, 300,000 units.
Are these just in North America? Or are they
I would
worldwide?
assume worldwide. Global.
That makes it even worse.
October of 2013, 50,000 units. November, 223,000. I mean, that's when some good games started coming out.
Well, and they also had that Wind Waker bundle too.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
that probably boosted it quite a
lifetime
bit.
sales to December of 2013, barely outpacing the Dreamcast.
Oh, that's a low blow.
Nintendo stock price on January 20th closed down 6%. That's a minus $1.2 billion in market revenue.
Oh my god,
That's
that's a big number.
with a B.
Yeah.
A billion.
B.
Well,
B-
so-
big and billion both start with B.
Let's just talk about maybe
Bees.
what this means.
So the funny thing is I remember, I remember a conversation during E3 with Reggie. And he was asking him, like, do y'all still want to do consoles?
Yeah.
Because it seems like the best things y'all sell
Or your software.
are your software.
Well,
And yeah, and then they
The
were
Wii.
like, yeah, exactly. And Reggie was like, no, these games coming out are system sellers. And I was like, in my head, okay, why are they coming out so late? Why would you release a system
With
a
no
year
system.
before your system selling games? I really don't understand. I mean, yes, granted, are there good games on the Wii U? Yeah, there are. I agree. In my opinion, are there enough games right now
To justify
to
buying
buy
it?
a Wii U? Fuck no.
Not at all.
There's not
Especially
enough
at the
games.
price point they're asking for.
Yeah.
What is it still? Is it still at $300?
No, it's 300
Mhm.
for the 32 gig.
Mhm.
Okay,
Jesus.
Which is
a
just
$100
$100 shy.
$100 more. You get a PS4, which 500 gig hard drive. You can multitask your games. There are already some better games on it.
There's already some better games that are coming down the pipe. Some bigger first-party games that are coming down the pipe. I don't know. And obviously a much, much heavier third-party support on those platforms than Nintendo has pretty much shit for third-party support. Like, they're pretty much relying exclusively on their first-party games to sell that system, as they always have. And it's not. I don't necessarily knock them for that, because their first-party stuff is great.
I mean, hasn't the PS4 already outsold the Wii U
pretty
in just like a couple months?
Yeah, it's. I know it's.
Man.
I think it was 4 point something million. when Andrew, whatever his name is, talked at CES. So I think
Yeah.
it's if it hasn't, it's going to in the next couple of days
yeah.
already
Yes.
outsell the Wii U.
Okay, so what
Andrew House.
numbers are numbers. What does this mean? So Nintendo is probably not going to be able to turn this system around.
Okay,
Yeah,
first
But
of all,
like they already put out 2 Mario games that didn't move systems like the way they moved.
they
the-
did go on record in the past couple of days saying that they're looking into new strategies for.
So hold on.
for-
But they put out a.
Do y'all
Wii Fit
remember
game.
the E3 when we saw the Wii U?
Oh yeah.
And my biggest fucking question was, in a year they're releasing a console, which they are claiming is 50% more powerful than consoles on the market. A year before, those consoles are going to release, those, publishers or whatever you want, console makers are going to release new consoles that are 200% more powerful. That was my first question. I'm like, why are they making a console that is barely better than current consoles
Because
on the
that's
market?
never been
That's what
Nintendo's-
worked for them.
But that's
with
not
the Wii.
that. Okay, that's fine. That's fine if they want to release a console that's less powerful. But if there's no software to play on that console, and they still can't fucking get names down for their fucking users, here's your fucking number. Remember that shit. The online is horrible.
Well, that's the problem. Like, were we talking about this here last week, or did I read this
No.
in an article where we were talking about online for Nintendo consoles? Like,
Well, that's come
For-
up plenty of times.
well,
before.
for instance, like the Nintendo guys in Japan, like the reason why they have such a hard time replicating an online experience that like Sony and Microsoft enjoy with their consoles is because these guys literally just don't understand what people use Xbox Live for. They just don't understand why people have it, what it's used for, like what its benefits are. They don't. They miss a fundamental part of what a fundamental idea of what is expected in a console nowadays.
Do they not understand, or are they being stubborn and insisting that their way is maybe not better, but
Wherever I was hearing.
Well, hold
this
on.
or
So are
whatever
they
it is-
designing consoles in the 90s? I don't
No,
understand
no,
how
but
they
this
don't
was
understand.
like this.
But that's what I'm saying.
I
like-
know, but that's why it's so baffling. This is. Was it a Kotaku article? I can't fucking remember.
Do
where
they
I saw
not
this.
use the internet?
But it said like Nintendo execs honestly just don't quite understand.
I think that was someone just
what
being
people have.
facetious.
No. Okay, I don't know. It seemed to be like it was a Nintendo insider who was talking
Mhm.
to an American Nintendo insider.
So
who was talking
that's
to
what
a
I'm saying.
source.
I could see some older executives, like I
Yeah.
said, from 90s guys being like, what do they need online for?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Like I could see that, but still, if they don't fucking open their eyes and realize that's an issue, like I hate having to, what's your DS friend code so we can play games? Hold on, let me figure it out because it's 3 sets of 4 numbers that I'm not going to remember.
The difference is if you look to Japan and you think about like the way multiplayer cooperative experiences are with them, it's
Handheld.
people playing Monster Hunter
Yeah.
in like a cafe,
cafe,
together
yeah.
sitting at a table. That has been their successful multiplayer experiences, which aren't like online successes.
No,
exactly.
They're
I mean,
local
that's-
multiplayer
But
successes.
that just means that so they understand how handhelds are supposed to work in a
Yeah.
certain situation. But does that mean that Nintendo's going to get to a point where they just don't make home consoles anymore?
I think
they
that
are
could
a
happen.
handheld company.
Well, they've always kind of dominated.
They've
the handheld
always
market.
dominated handheld, but they usually still had a decent foothold in the console
I think
market
people throw
that
that-
they're losing.
people throw that suggestion around a lot, and at least as far as Nintendo says, they're very confident and concerned about saying that they're not abandoning the console market. Like they're going out of their way to say no, the Wii U's not dead. We are not leaving the console market.
They don't
They're not gonna
want to. But I mean, are they going to be backed into that position?
No, you know why? It's because the 3DS is single-handedly keeping them afloat.
Exactly.
Like in the same month that the Wii U was like the worst selling console ever, or since the Dreamcast, or whatever the thing is, then the DS, the 3DS, is still like leagues and bounds probably the best selling hardware on the market you can buy. So like they're having a really shitty month for the Wii U, but that fucking 3DS is just keeping them afloat. Like they're floating in
But
money.
I mean, how long of this like
Sega
neutral,
didn't have that when the Dreamcast was
like
out.
how long of this like this tug of war in their revenue, this like neutral buoyancy of performance are they going to put up with
They
before
have
they
so
say,
much money.
"Oh my
They
god,
do.
look at this! We can sell handhelds and we can sell handheld games and people love this shit." Nobody's buying a Wii U.
Well, here's
Nobody
Nintendo-
gives a shit about.
I think people are freaking out right now because Nintendo is doing so poorly, but at the same time, in reality, this has only been happening for like a year and a half. Before that, they were like the
Well,
Oh yeah, the Wii sold like hotcakes.
The
yeah.
last few years of the Wii were
like
not great at all.
they're
though.
having
mean,
they're
this
having
is-
they're having a slump here. Like who's to say they don't dig themselves out of it in a year or two?
but the problem
you
is
never count Nintendo.
they haven't evolved their philosophy of what a home console should do.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
Their
close
console
to
that they came out with right now, their current
7
gen
years.
is like 2 gens ago, in my opinion, on how a console should work.
They're just trying to do something different, though. I mean, the Wii had shit online, but it was the best-selling console because it did something different and appealed to this new type of
That's what I'm
market.
saying.
I
The
think
new
their
market.
The Wii U, they wanted to, try to capture that again, thinking that this tablet thing was going to be huge. It just wasn't.
And I also don't think they counted on the fact that that huge market that they appealed to at the Wii is not a market that's going to go out and buy another console. Like they had the Wii and they were happy.
Well,
They're not going to turn around and buy a Wii
It's a
U.
market that has a bunch of iPads and stuff now. They just want the new thing, and this Wii U never became the new thing, so no one ever bought it.
And there are
You know what I mean? Like it never became this news story that everyone needed one, and you need that
Because
You
there's
need that
nothing
for
about
to
it
grow.
to need.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But that's what
But-
I'm saying. What
so-
happens? What happens next time Nintendo comes around and says, "Hey, we've got a new home
well, so
console
let's
coming
talk
out,"
about
and
next
it's-
time.
And
Let's
it's
talk
another.
about this next time.
It's another bullshit incremental increase.
Okay, well, let's talk about next time. For one, they're not going to turn the Wii U around. I really don't think so.
I agree.
So my question is, when do they kind of like give up on the Wii and move on to their next console? Because I think if they do that sooner rather than later,
As soon as possible.
they can get a let's say in 2016 they come out with a new system, right? Like Sony and Microsoft aren't going to be even close.
No.
If they can get like 3 years ahead of whatever Sony and Microsoft does next time, then they actually can have a pretty decent like technology, like even if they put out comparable technology to wherever the PS4 and Xbox One are at, then they have enough years in there to where they can be competitive.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with Nintendo releasing in between, Xbox and PlayStation releases, their new consoles. I'm fine with Nintendo being in the middle of that. That is fine with me because you know what? 2 years after a console comes out, some people don't mind spending that, $300, $400 because it's been a few years since they made a big purchase like that. So they're fine with that. So if Nintendo can come out with a console that's not based on a gimmick, but based on a good designed console, it has to have a good interface because the Wii U's interface is fucking horrible. I hate that I have to start my game on the Wii on the pad. Why the fuck do I have to do that? Why can I not use the Wii remote and something dumb like that? If they can make it like you're saying, it has to, even if it's comparable, it doesn't have to be better. I mean, by that time, by 2016, I think that's a good time. Was that 4 years since the Wii U? Something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
And so, if you can make, technology is going to be cheaper. It's going to be cheaper to make a comparable, even better system than what's currently out there right now. I could see Nintendo putting in a terabyte hard drive in their new console or whatever. If they can get a good online network going, a good interface that, works well, I think they could sell a really good system. But the issue is they have to get their first party stuff better because I still think
First party or third party?
First party. Now, I agree. They do need a huge thing in the third party. They need a boost in it. The thing was, one of the best games on the Wii U right now is a game from Platinum. It's not even fucking from Nintendo. Because I think their first party stuff, they are selling the name. They aren't selling a good game.
No, it's been years since they've really.
But that's what I'm saying.
IP.
The last Zelda was shit. These current Marios are copy and pastes of old Marios.
They're just not wowing.
But that's what I'm saying. They have the potential to make a great game. I don't believe they aren't capable of it. I think they can. I think they can make great games with these characters. I think Smash
they're all on the
Brothers
3DS.
could be, yeah. I think Smash Brothers could be fantastic. I think they could make a good open world Mario game that would be a system seller. I think they could make a good Zelda game that would be a system seller. I think there are plenty of IPs they own that would sell well, even if they're shitty. But I think if they made it into a good game, it would sell amazingly.
Maybe this is kind of serve as a wake up call then, because I feel like in years past Nintendo maybe has been kind of like floating along, kind of, you know, our games will sell because we're fucking Nintendo and it's Mario. We don't have to try that hard with our software because it's gonna sell.
But exactly what they're saying. No, that is. If you listen, I don't remember when it was.
No, I know they're saying
it was an interview with Reggie, and he was saying these games will sell our system.
What I'm saying is Nintendo's in a weird place because they've made consoles that were comparable to the other consoles on the market before, but that didn't.
Well, the GameCube.
Well, no, the GameCube, the fucking 64, the Super Nintendo.
That's what I'm saying.
They were different, but they were
the
comparable.
last one that's been like on the same level.
Exactly. But none of their other consoles achieved this ridiculous level of success that the Wii did. So, like, as a company, like, what are they supposed to think? We just make another one like these other guys? That's not what made us billions.
No, they should be glad that they got lucky with something, and they shouldn't hedge their bets that some gimmicky thing's going to come along and match that luck.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, the Wii U wasn't a terrible fucking idea.
No, it wasn't.
It was, like, if I was in their position after the Wii, I wouldn't be making a system that's like the other guys. You know, I would be trying to strike gold again.
I think
there's a difference between trying to go out and copy the Sony Microsoft models and just completely ignoring conventions of like what makes having a home console worth.
So that's
buying.
what I'm
Like,
saying. That's what I'm saying. So, you know, it's a console, right? You want to play games on it. Why day one do I need an 8 gig update?
Well,
No, that's what I'm saying though. That is a major
Microsoft
issue.
had a big update too on their day one launch.
I realize. I mean, it wasn't, you know,
It wasn't
almost
8
the
gigs.
entire hard drive.
what you're saying is even more of a reason why Nintendo should really think outside the box because they can't compete with
I agree.
with the other guys
I agree
in terms of software.
that
I mean like firmware and shit.
Yes, no, I agree. Nintendo is innovative. They're smart. They have great ideas, but their technical abilities just seem to be like from 10 years
their
ago.
ability to implement them is not the greatest. I think there's three things right now. Online is a big factor, but I think there are three key things right now that hold them back from being like at least competitive. And that's one, they've screwed their third parties too much and they've lost almost all support.
I mean, they couldn't even get like in 2013 they couldn't even get like the third party releases that were coming out on the 360 and the PS3. They couldn't even get those.
So
and their hardware was better.
It's better, yeah.
So right now they're relying almost entirely on their first party lineup, and as a result, a year after launch, their fucking library is minuscule by comparison.
Yeah.
Two, the price point. I think it's still, especially now that the PS4 and Xbox One are out, for $100 more you can get a much
that's
more
what I'm
powerful
saying.
system.
Exactly. For more, barely any more money, you get a system which is light years more powerful.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. You can buy a Wii U, which is barely more powerful than a PS3, and it costs way much more, or similar in price.
I mean, at this point,
How much is a PlayStation 3?
Well, I think
like
you can get like a 250 gig PlayStation for $250, but you can get it with like free games.
Yeah, free
now, too.
games and
There's one that
for
comes
$50 less, you can get a console that is more powerful. Honestly, probably more powerful than it, with a library that's.
You know what?
fucking enormous.
There's a $250 PlayStation you can go out and buy right now that comes with a year of PlayStation Plus, which in and of itself gives you instant access to like 16 free games,
something like that.
retail games.
That's what I'm saying. On paper, the Wii U is more powerful. It's not implemented that way.
I
The
haven't gotten to
system
my
is
third
so
point yet.
slow. Yeah.
Third thing I think is really holding them back is the package itself. When you buy a Wii U, comes with only the tablet.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get an extra Wii remote. They're basically banking on the fact that you have a Wii and you're going to use that Wii remote. When in fact, I guarantee you, there's probably plenty of people that went out and bought that system day one after trading in their original Wii, not realizing that they were trading in their Wii remote, which they needed for their Wii U. Second of all, they force you to they only come to the tablet. That tablet is probably what's holding that fucking price point so high.
Yeah.
Like, that thing is ridiculous. Why is that? First of all, not even so few games actually use that in any real significant manner. Why is that mandatory? Why does that have to be in the box?
Well,
Why not make that an
the
optional
shtick.
thing?
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's
That's
the shtick, but
That's
nothing's
that's their
using it.
new gimmick.
I know.
And that's why.
But
Why,
they're-
as a third-party developer, do I want to make a game for the Xbox 360 and the PS3 that's the exact same, and then make one for the Wii U? But now I have to add this whole subsystem of a touchscreen I need to implement. That's so much more work.
Which is why I feel like they're in a position right now where they could realistically pull that tablet out of the package completely, drop their price point, make the tablet an optional add-on. Because let's be honest, the only people that are really going to implement that thing in any significant way is going to be Nintendo themselves and their games. Make that an optional thing. Make their games still playable on the Wii U using a Pro controller or a Wii remote. Throw one of those in the box and lower the price point by like $50 to $100, and boom. You're instantly, I think, way more competitive than you were in the first place. All of a sudden, third parties don't have to develop for their fucking games with tablet control support. And I feel like that makes it a much more enticing package for developers, first and foremost. I'm sure there's other reasons that they're choosing not to develop for Nintendo's platform, but that is, I think, a huge, huge roadblock for them. Like, and honestly, they're losing money already as it is with every console sale. And they're probably going to continue to lose money, so why not just say, fuck it, take the tablet out, drop the price point, lose a little bit more money, but probably end up selling a shit ton more consoles.
I mean, the only
Boom.
way they're going to move Wii U's is if they become very cheap very quickly.
I think we've talked about this for too
Yeah,
long.
yeah.
And by the way, to clarify, I'm not saying, like, stop using the tablet. I'm just saying don't make it mandatory.
Mhm.
Like, that tablet should be something you go into a store and buy if you want to use it.
Look at the PS3 with its amazing 6-axis. Who the fuck uses that anymore?
Nobody.
Exactly, because it was dumb.
It was
I heard it's
cool when
actually
I was
really good
playing
on the PS4.
Ghostbusters.
I heard it's actually really
That
good
was
on the
cool.
PS4.
Oh, really?
Right?
Yeah.
Like for
Right?
what?
Like they improved that tech.
Oh, I see the tech being better, but that's what I'm saying.
What
When
was
it
your
first
thought
came
on it?
out, it was so fucking gimmicky. I remember fucking GTA 4 having to control my motorcycle with fucking. I hated that shit.
Yeah, that was dumb. But
For your
that
webcams.
proton pack, man. Catching ghosts, putting them in the trap. That was fucking cool.
You know what that would
That
work
was the
better
one
on?
time. That was the one time I was using 6-axis function. And I was like, I get it.
You know
I
what-
get
you
it.
know what that would work better on?
What's that?
A Wii controller.
Yeah. Too bad the Wii version of that game was like.
If they had made a fucking, like, Ghostbusters
was
thing
hot
with Wii remote
garbage.
and nunchuck,
I mean that game wasn't really.
I would have bought that shit.
I love that game because I'm a big Ghostbusters fan, not because
all
it's a
they have to
particularly
do-
fantastic game.
Is make the Wii U gamepad the trap.
Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
shut up!
You wouldn't want people throwing that.
No,
though.
people would throw it in
Yeah,
break.
because,
Dude,
like-
that would be so cool if you're just like, the trap. Oh my god, if they had like a little attachment that put a pedal on it, like, I would
the
never.
pedal is pedal is on
you
the
just
screen.
smash on the,
You stop the screen.
I would never play any other game.
Oh,
All right, let's move on.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, we don't need to spend a lot of time talking about this, but I think it's a pretty big deal, and that's Sony has finally kind of unveiled their plans for PlayStation
I think
Now.
it's a very big deal, and I think it could go
No,
multiple.
we're still waiting on some details.
Yeah.
Is the problem? So, PlayStation Now. This was available at CES, right?
CES, yeah.
So, obviously, this is incorporating what we've all known for a very long time, that Sony purchased Gaikai a long
Correct.
time ago.
Mhm.
So now they're
Gaikai's a streaming service.
streaming service. Now,
For $320 million or
Yep.
something like
yeah,
that.
something, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was that's about what it was.
Which
So-
is crazy.
so PlayStation Now essentially is, from what I understand, is going to be kind of a subscription-based service, right?
Yeah.
They haven't said that.
No, they have.
They did?
They said subscription, but also you can
Individual
rent
rights.
individual games.
Yes.
When did this come out?
Right around the same
CES.
time.
I was hearing this.
Yeah.
When
The
they
thing
first
is, we don't know the
announced
price point for the subscription.
Yeah, they haven't
based
announced
model
price
yet.
points, but
which is gonna-
subscription based, and or you can rent individual games.
it. Sounds like a great
Rent
deal.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
so
buy.
like you pay a fee to play the game.
So
for
we had
24
this
hours.
conversation like the day after CES, and I was confused, and no one knew how to answer me. Because my question was, is this service going to be like the PlayStation Store where you go in and buy a game, or is it going to be like GameFly where you pay a monthly service fee and you're allowed to rent X amount of games a month?
Well, I think if,
Well, they
if you
go
go
to-
with the subscription model, it'd be more like a Netflix sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where
so,
you just have complete access to the library, but you have to pay X amount of money.
So
every
we don't
month.
even know that.
So that's
for
my
sure.
question.
But
That's
we
my
don't know
question.
that. But that's
That's what I'm saying. I think this service would just be bananas. I don't know. I can't think of a fucking word right now. It would
Ace
be
in the hole.
exactly if
That was
monthly
shit.
fee, as many games as you want, just one out at a time.
Right.
If you could just rent a game, play it, and then return it whenever you want.
Streaming it. I mean, it's not even like.
Well, that's what. Well, I mean,
out,
the thing is that they let you just play any game. I mean, I guess that'd be fine.
The
but I mean, what's
barrier
the price
there
point?
would be the price point.
Yeah, what's
it
the
would
price?
probably be something like. I
You
mean,
know what?
I don't think it's gonna be $8 a month.
No,
I think it's
Like-
probably be 15.
at least.
Probably.
I think this thing's going to be overpriced, and I don't want to stream my games. There's no way it's going to work that well.
And that's the thing. It depends on how good the service is.
Like I mean,
It ain't
I
gonna
don't
do-
want to be playing a game and my internet kind of
flutters.
just starts bottlenecking or
So
whatever.
that's gonna-
and all my
so
games start
that's the
looking like
question.
shit.
So
and
that's the
there's,
question, Brad.
A delay.
Is it going to be a complete stream, or is it going to be similar to YouTube where it buffers a big section and then no longer needs the internet for that section? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you're playing the game on their end.
But that's
You're
what I'm
just
saying.
getting the video feed. It's
So
constantly
that's how it
streaming.
works. It's
yeah.
just, yeah.
Like I don't
Well, that's how they
understand.
can do things like Last of Us. On
Yeah.
I
either.
don't. If this doesn't work perfectly, this is gonna be, I think, gonna be a huge financial disaster for Sony, because not only did Gaikai cost like an insane amount of money, but like the cost of like on their server side has got to be like exorbitant.
It probably is, and that's the thing. The bigger it is, the more costly it's going to be. The more people they have streaming it, the more servers they're going to need to be able to provide access to this.
Like they gotta have hardware running all those games.
Correct. Well,
Like this service does not use the PS4's hardware.
correct, it does.
They're talking about being able to do this like on tablets.
So that's the thing. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a streaming service.
Also.
So everything you can play on everything. You
Yeah.
can play it on your mobile phone. You can play it on your tablet.
Even
you can
your
play it on your
PS3.
Vita. You can play it on your PS3. You can play it on your
We're gonna have
PS4.
it like just loaded onto Sony TVs that you buy.
Yes,
now.
and
It's
you can
like
play it on Sony
PlayStation now.
TVs. Is what they were talking
So
about.
that's what I'm saying. Like if there's 100,000 people like fucking streaming a game, they have 100,000 like PS4s that are playing
That's not
the
exactly
game?
what they have to do. I mean, so the thing is that powerful PCs can run multiple instances
Okay,
of it.
sure,
So
sure.
yeah, so
You're right, you're right.
It's
But
not just they don't need a one-to-one.
powerful ass PC.
Well, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be
That's
expensive.
where the 300 million comes into
yeah,
play.
it's gonna be hella expensive because
They're counting, like, the thing is, if they're going to spend so much money to make this shit work, if they get it working, that subscription-based model will sustain it.
if their service runs right. The
Yeah,
problem
it's
is,
a big
I
if.
think similar to like just recent events, GTA Online, it's going to be shitty at first. I'm sure they've been testing it, but I doubt they've been testing it with the huge numbers they're getting. I don't know. They probably have some sort of closed beta or something where they're testing it. But the thing is, it also depends on where their servers are located. If they have multiple servers across, how they're fucking caching this data. I don't know how they're actually getting it to you. It depends on your ISP.
Yeah,
It depends on
What about
it-
bandwidth caps?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Jesus
It
Christ,
depends,
a
it depends
game?
on what's going on with this whole what is it called?
Net neutrality.
Net neutrality
Yeah.
shit,
stuff,
where they're gonna
yeah.
start throttling people if it happens. I mean, if that happens, fuck this system, this whole Gaikai
Yeah.
PlayStation Now could be fucked.
Yeah.
Sony
Unless
would
they have enough money to
exactly.
ransom the bandwidth from
There's
That's-
no
that's
way.
what they would
There's
have to
no
do.
fucking way. These are like HD fucking games, man. It's not like, well, I mean,
Well,
you're playing
what
them for
if-
hours.
What price point starts to make this more feasible though? Because let's think about this. Let's just think about this. So like Xbox Live, for example, $60 a year, and that is basically a service that gets you access to the online features of other games that you've already bought,
Yes.
right? So a service that theoretically just gives you access to hundreds and possibly thousands of games across 3 generations of consoles. I
It
mean,
ain't gonna be that many.
is it going to be? Well, I mean that is like kind of the goal.
That's their
right?
goal,
That's what
yeah.
they're that's
When it
the
comes
vision
out,
that they're
it's not gonna be
selling,
that.
right? Is this going to be like 80, maybe $100 for a year? Like you just pay $100 a year and then go at it?
I don't think it's gonna be worth it. Because I know it's not gonna
Well, let's
work
wait and
that
see.
well.
There's an open beta starting this, or a closed beta starting this month.
Also, what is this gonna do to the quality of the content that they give you in PlayStation Plus? Because I honestly think that if this thing it becomes their focus, like I
Yeah.
think we're really going to see a reduce in quality of content that they give out for people who
The
are
thing is,
subscribed
those are
to
two different
PlayStation Plus.
services.
I know, but I'm saying, like, if they're trying to say, hey, do this streaming thing because BioShock Infinite, you could just play it right now. Right now, they're giving that game away for free.
Yeah,
I think they're really going to, like, pull back on some of that stuff.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? Because why? Why?
Well, I mean, the difference in between the two is one of them
But
like,
remember,
I bet
PlayStation Plus
they're
now,
gonna be-
people have to pay for it to play multiplayer, so they feel like people are going to be paying for it anyways. They don't have to, like, offer these crazy, like, awesome free games.
But also, there's the possibility that there could be a huge pool of different games that they could make available on the service, but they could also do like Netflix, where new games come in, old games come out.
Mm-hmm.
Old games that were on but were later removed come back. Like you could have that whole like rotating library thing going on with the service. So you could potentially get into situations where it's like, oh, I really want this service so that I can go back and play, whatever on PS2. Like let's say
The Bouncer.
The Bouncer on PS2.
No one
sure.
would play the Bouncer.
And then you buy the service, you get to play the Bouncer for 2 days, and then they pull it.
Yeah, no, that's gonna happen.
And then
that's gonna happen. There's gonna be rights issues.
No more Bouncer.
There's some games that you're never gonna see.
Yeah.
The other thing is like, dude, systems used to have just backwards compatibility. You pop the fucking disc in, you play the fucking game, and that usually was free.
Well,
this is like they're gonna be charging us $100
bucks. Go ahead and get that out of your head because you're never gonna see that.
You're
again.
right. I mean, they're charging us fucking $100 a year to play some these fucking games over the internet. This shit needs to be fucking.
Well, we don't know that it's gonna be.
I have all the backwards compatibility I want on my PC.
God, this shit needs to be
Quit your elitism.
This needs to be fucking
Golden Master
cheap.
Race.
Yeah. Well,
God damn it.
I mean, you could. People were talking shit about his Ermagerd or whatever, but like this is why I don't emulate. Well, I'm enjoying broadcasting Valkyria Chronicles 3, so suck my dick.
All right. And on that note, let's move on. We'll have more to say about that as we get more details, obviously.
I will say, though, that since building my computer, like, emulation is probably one of my favorite things that I've been able to do since building kind of a beastly machine, not just regular PC gaming.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on.
Real quick, another news topic. I don't know how much y'all know about it. I don't know a whole lot, but it just came out that Microsoft was paying YouTubers to
Machinima, and what was the other one? I forgot the other one was, but yeah, they were
paying them
just
for positive Xbox One, like, I don't say coverage, but like kind of.
I thought it was just
paying
ads,
them,
like straight
paying
up
them
ads.
to promote.
Yeah, paying them to promote positively the Xbox One.
That doesn't sound like Microsoft at all.
Yeah,
I thought it was just ads. Like they were paying like YouTube people like
to run
Xbox Live ads, but they were doing it at ridiculous like $3 per 1,000 hits on a video that has that ad but they're doing it to like help promote the Xbox One or whatever.
It doesn't really surprise me, but
because the Xbox One needs it. I don't say it needs good advertising because the thing is they need a better system.
I think Nintendo needs it more.
Well, I guess.
Anyway, I don't know. It's kind of, I don't have all the details in front of me, so I couldn't really speak to it. But I don't know.
I'm just saying it says something about Microsoft and the Xbox One.
Woo! Yeah, I mean,
well, it is Microsoft, so I'm sure whatever it is, it's evil. Anyway, what's going on?
Anyways, I wanted to kind of talk real quickly about a couple of games. I want to Nolan can get ready for the chatter for the week, and I pulled up a chatter for the week there for you. Mm-hmm. So while you're preparing that, I just want to briefly mention we had some big game announcements kind of over the break, or while we were in the midst of our end of the year footage or videos and doing our end of the year podcast and whatnot. But there's a couple big ones. One of which was featured on this week's trailer talk. New Alien game? Anyone else excited about that?
Isolation.
Alien Isolation from
Surely we talked about this.
I think
Chris Davis is excited.
We brought it up in concept, but we didn't really actually go into
because we
detail.
talked about
it was
games
teased.
we
No,
were excited.
we talked about it because it was one of the games on our preview show.
Right, that we were excited.
Yes, okay.
We haven't mentioned
good.
this.
We did bring that up. So that was announced.
It's an Alien game, not an Aliens
Although at
game.
the time of that recording, I hadn't seen there hadn't been a trailer yet. That was the first time I had seen gameplay footage of it, which looks interesting. Honestly, kind of the alien game that I've always wanted. Because it's centered on one alien and it's more of a survival horror than anything else, which is great. It's more of the Ridley Scott versus the James Cameron vision of the Aliens universe, which is nice. Why are you laughing, Crispy?
I don't know, because when you said that, I just thought of a game where Ridley Scott hunts you through a spaceship. I don't know. Like instead of an alien, it's just Ridley Scott.
Oh man, I'd be more scared of the James Cameron one. And also Evolve, which we also kind of briefly mentioned because it was announced, I think, the day of our recording for the 2014 show, which is pretty big. But it's the next game from Turtle Rock Studios. So it's another multiplayer-driven game. Have you all read the article yet from Game Informer about it?
I saw.
A lot of really
we also
interesting.
talked about this on our preview show.
Yeah, I'm just realizing we talked more about it, so I'll kind of leave it at that. But check them out; they look pretty cool. I'm getting pretty. After reading more about Evolve, I'm getting pretty excited about it. It's more of that asynchronous multiplayer that you were talking about that you really like there, Crispy.
Mm-hmm.
Your eyes were just doing this really fucking weird.
I was trying to think. I don't remember Evolve. Maybe I didn't watch the preview show.
You were on the preview show.
Yeah, you didn't watch it though.
Oh my lord. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and move on to Chatter for the Week. This will be the first Chatter for the Week for 2014.
Awesome.
That's a pretty big honor.
It's a pretty big honor. And
It
as
is.
I was saving this for a special occasion.
Were you?
Yes, that's what I was doing. I was saving this for a special occasion. So
Well, before I get to Chatter for the Week, since this is now the community section of the podcast, I'm going to go over the fact that it is now January 2014, the first month of 2014, and we have a new subscriber of the month. Our subscriber of the month is
in
Jesus
LH,
Christ.
and my memory stops there.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, hold on, I can pull up the actual
If you
username.
guys really want to know his name,
I'm pretty sure everyone thought he was a bot just based on his username, but his username is NLH289210.
If that was a bot, he wouldn't have chosen such an awesome game.
Oh yeah, so his game of choice was Final Fantasy 12, and like I said, Brad and myself have been playing that. Me playing
I've
the
been watching
original
a little bit
PS2,
of Nolan
Brad playing the international version, slightly different. But we'll get into that on the podcast at the end of the month when we actually have one and talk about it. NLH has declined to be on the podcast, but that's all right. He doesn't have to be on if he didn't want
That's
to.
because he's a bot. He's not real.
yeah, not looking too good for that whole not robot theory.
Yeah. His email was very punctual and very grammatically
Efficient.
correct.
Very, very. I would even say robotic.
Request to appear on podcast denied.
But all right, so now let's get into Chatter for the Week. Yay!
Yay!
Time
Chatter
for
of the Week! Oh my God, I
It's the
missed Chatter of the Week.
I feel like it's been so fucking.
Fuck
It's been
yeah!
so long
It's a
since we
magical
just sat
show.
around and
Chatter
judged
for the
people.
Week, and we're gonna judge them all.
God, I have a huge erection.
Mm.
I can't tell.
All right. So, our first chatter for the week for 2014 is Timothy from Los Angeles.
Oh man.
Otherwise known to most listeners, viewers, and watchers as Chai Tai.
Chai Tai.
Oh.
Chai Tai.
I forgot that was.
Chai Tai.
Isn't Corvus also a Tim from
Yes.
LA?
Yes.
Okay.
These are two different Tims from LA.
I was watching.
The LA
Believe it or
Tims.
not, there's more than one Tim in LA.
Is Chai Tai
There's a
in chat
couple.
right now? He's Chai Tai's probably not in chat.
There's
right
about
now.
a 30-second delay, so we
I
had
know.
no idea. Anyway,
Stop the podcast.
let's keep going. Chai Tai's greatest gaming... I'll start with his shameful secret. His shameful secret. I used to be horribly addicted to an arcade game called Initial D Arcade Stage. Put it this way. Each game averages 4 minutes of gameplay that cost between 50 cents to $1. You can save your progress on cards that cost about $5
Wait, I've heard this before.
and must be renewed every 50 plays.
I've heard this before.
Okay?
Did we do this?
I feel like we did this. Maybe. we
Why does he
didn't.
give me shit every time I talk to him saying we never did his chatter for the week?
Wait, did we do this?
I swear
don't-
to God, we've done this.
I don't remember this, but then again,
Anyway,
maybe
fuck.
Hold on.
my memory isn't the best.
I don't think.
Hold on. So first of all, when he gave you this, it wasn't for a chatter, it was for a subscriber.
That's the only one he gave me, though.
Huh?
That was the only one he gave me, though.
I realize that. And so you threw me off my game.
Sorry.
So no. This is important to Nick that we need to look into this. So hold on, I'm pulling it up right now, and I can find the answer to this.
I feel bad now. I fucked up the
You
first.
should. You should.
Boy.
Oh, Chai Tai is in chat.
People
So,
should
no.
know.
I
don't have
finally
this.
remembered Chai Tai.
I
Now
don't
it's-
have this, so no, I don't think we've done this before.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I've read. Maybe I just read it.
You did because he gave it to you, and then you gave it to me. So yes, you
I
probably read
knew
it.
I'd never heard.
So
this
anyway,
before.
back to my story of Chai Tai's life. You can save your progress on cards that cost about $5 and must be renewed every 50 plays. I have burned through at least 40 cards in my 6 years of playing. That's a minimum of 1,225 I've spent on an arcade game and 133 hours of my life.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Hey, you gotta do what you
Hey.
love.
That was my Tekken days. I've never wanted to count up how much money I spent on those
How many
machines.
quarters?
Yeah, how many quarters? It was probably too
Enough to
much.
buy the machine.
Yeah, probably.
All right, Chai's greatest gaming achievement. This one's tough. I'm going to say that my best achievement was qualifying for a dive kick tournament last Evolution Championship tournament in Las Vegas.
Evo.
We have heard this. Swear to God. Whatever. Keep going.
This kinda
Keep going.
sounds-
Don't
Yeah,
stop
this does
now.
sound familiar.
This train
but-
is rolling.
Yeah. The requirement was that the top 16 win streaks of the weekend would get invited back to play the final round.
We have heard this
the
shit.
final
I
tournament.
don't think so.
No, I think this is something different.
Yeah.
Because I remember we talked about one with a tournament and the guy with two brothers and they kind of like
Let's just read it.
yeah.
I mean,
Nick
like,
keeps throwing me fucking off. Just shut the
read
fuck
it.
up.
If we get through it,
I
don't
fucked this
matter.
up, guys. I fucked this up.
I placed about 7th or 8th over the weekend with a win streak, with a streak of 20 plus wins. I don't know how well I would have done overall because I decided to get drunk and I missed the actual tournament.
No.
Just you read it.
Wait,
I-
that was
I
greatest
don't
gaming
remember this.
achievement.
Yeah, keep going.
I don't remember this at all.
No, I don't remember.
So
that.
unless y'all did a chatter for the week when I wasn't here,
No, just
We-
keep going.
Okay.
which y'all have done
Wait,
and
wait,
not
wait.
properly documented,
and not properly documented.
so
This is fine.
I
He got
failed.
drunk and slept in, and he had a scene like in Stripes where he like ran to the tournament and
Yeah.
played really quickly.
Exactly.
He was all disheveled because
Yeah.
he was dressing really quickly,
yeah,
and he was basically Bill Murray. Bleh.
Bill Burley.
Keep-
But that morning,
keep going.
he made pancakes with a spatula under a girl's butt.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway, top 5 games of all time. Number 5, Contra 3,
Wait.
The Alien Wars.
Oh my god.
Just
Oh my God.
fucking go.
Number
Read
4.
them.
Wait. Number 4.
You fucking had the list, Nick. You read this. Of
You
course,
read
you've
it.
seen it.
I'm looking. I was a joke.
Well, then stop fucking cheating.
I'm reading it right now.
4 is Persona 4.
Correct.
Goal.
His number 3 is Final Fantasy. Shut the fuck up,
12.
Nick.
Oh, sorry.
9, 12.
10.
6.
Ah.
Number 2 is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And his number 1 game of all time is Metal Gear
Initial
Solid
D.
3.
3.
3.
3. I've definitely heard this before.
Yeah, that's. I know that was
Metal
on a
Gear Solid
list.
3 was
It
on the
had to have been
list.
Chai's list. No one has Metal Gear Solid 3 on their
All
list.
right, who is Chai up against?
Interesting story about Initial D. I used to work at Hollywood Video.
This is
Why are
no
you
one
saying
talking
this
about
like you're
himself now.
reading it?
I have a book in my mind that I'm reading from. That's how I remember things. And Kempwood was the street it was on. I'm pretty sure it's burned down by now from
The street?
No, yeah, probably. It was a bad neighborhood.
That street was very flammable.
I think our
It's
Hollywood,
already on the ground.
our Hollywood Video got broken into 4 times while I worked there. 2 times with concrete being thrown through the window, once with a manhole cover, and one time I think someone just kicked in the cover.
Hey,
One of the
my GameStop
employees
was
got
robbed
caught
once.
having sex in the aisle
Whoa.
with another employee. Anyway,
Oh, wow.
this
That's
is
not so bad.
yeah.
My
so
GameStop
anyway,
got robbed by a truck driving
so
through the front.
I'm working, and someone returns Initial D. It's an anime, and it was DVD. And every movie that got returned, you have to open it up to make sure the movie's actually in there. Well, in this instance, Initial D was not in the case.
Oh no.
Pornography.
It was Blue Jean Blondes Part 2.
That sounds like a really boring porn.
Yeah.
I didn't watch
It's like,
it.
oh, they wear
So
jeans.
I have to call up this guy. I don't remember his name. And I was like, hey, you didn't return the movie. And he was like, okay. And he hung up the phone. And then like half an hour later, this young girl comes in. And she was like, that was my dad's movie. Here's yours. And I was like, oh, here's yours. And I gave her blue
Here's some
jean.
pornography, little girl. No, run along.
I think you could probably be arrested for that, Nolan.
I say girl.
It
She,
was a sting
she wasn't like
operation.
8. She was at least 18.
Oh,
okay.
But I'm saying it was a girl, as in not the guy.
that would have been amazing if it was like a sting
No, it
operation.
wasn't
No
like
one
a
got busted
12-year-old.
handing out porn to a 15-year-old.
No.
Oh man.
Anyway,
That's hilarious.
moving on.
Whew. And who is Chai Tai up against?
So this week,
That was a great story,
He's
Chai
up
Tai,
against-
your Hollywood video.
up
Chai
against
Tai and his
Nolan
initial
wins.
D porn, initial dick, is up against Bethany,
Bethany?
Bethany,
Bethany.
aka
Bethany.
Pandora Hour in chat. Pandora Hour. She is 20 and she is located in York, England. Is this like a dating?
ASL.
And she's currently single. I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. All right. Shameful secret.
You asked for the
Bethany.
gender and whatever.
Do I ask for gender?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
you
said-
said-
so-
you
so
always
I-
ask
I
for
do.
gender.
I've never asked for. She doesn't say gender. She says her name, her age, and her location. I never asked for age. I don't care how fucking old you are.
Okay, fair enough.
I
She
want to
also
know.
includes-
I definitely.
Yeah,
do.
she also has her
Included
measurements.
Her measurements, oddly enough.
All right.
Turn-ons, turn-offs.
I remember the first time I got my copy of Final Fantasy 12, the game we're playing, at launch, which happened to also be the day I was staying at my grandparents' house, as my parents wanted some time alone on their anniversary.
Mm.
I
Doing
found their
sex.
initial D case. I begged them to let me bring my PS2 so I could play my brand new game, and they agreed as long as I didn't bother my cousins who they were babysitting, as he loves all the attention. After tea time, or dinner time, whatever you call it, my grandparents had to rush out to do something, leaving me alone with my stupid devil-spawned cousin. He started begging me to play with him as soon as they left the house, and eventually gave up after about 15 minutes and just watched me level grind.
Someone just said Nolan doesn't concern himself with age. That just made me laugh.
Age is just a number.
I keep getting older and they stay the same age. Level grind. Soon he grew bored and started demanding I let him play. I responded by telling him to shut up and go play outside.
Oh man.
He answered that by screaming and shouting. I decided to just put on my headphones and drown him out. Not my child, not my problem. Soon he gave up and proceeded to throw his tennis balls at me, and then picked up his racket and went for my PS2.
Is this gonna lead to like a child getting attacked?
Tearing off my headphones as my controller went flying out of my hand, I grabbed his racket and threw it backwards, taking him with it. I then started to hurl abuse at the shaking child as he looked in terror
Oh my god. This just turned dark.
and threatened if he ever tried again, I would break his face with the racket. I never meant it, of course. It was just PMS mixed with my dislike of kids. I don't know if this is real or not. No woman would admit anything to PMS.
Oh god. This is
All right. To this day, I don't think they ever suspected what went on in that night. Just how I turned that devil into an angel.
Whoa!
She killed him? I don't know. I skipped a section. Anyway, her cousin made her upset,
Did you
so
say
she's...
you skipped the sex?
I skipped the section. There's no incest, Chris. There's no incest in this.
It'll
I don't
happen
under-
again one day.
This episode is accidentally becoming like the longest episode ever.
Anyway,
How did this even happen?
greatest gaming achievement, real quick, because it's a short one. Saving Malik on a pacifist, no alerts playthrough on Deus Ex Human Revolution. I'll admit it had taken me at least 8 tries to do it, but the feeling of satisfaction on pulling it off at the end was so worth it. Jesus
we've done
Christ,
this one
that
before.
sentence is very... Yeah.
bad.
This sounds familiar. We did this one before.
This one was sent to me in December.
He's making fun of me. Just keep
Okay.
going. Top 5?
No, I'm just reading that sentence. I'll admit it had taken me at least 8 tries to do it, but the feeling of satisfaction on pulling it off in the end was so worth it. I suppose also beating Daggerfall and Arena back in the day also counts because
Wait
playing
a
them
minute.
now, I have no clue how I did it.
This
No, we
young
haven't.
girl played Daggerfall. Like, do you remember this
Well,
conversation we had?
No.
That's a different girl.
So there's a bunch of
No,
young
it wasn't the
girls.
Daggerfall the one from Japan?
No, Daggerfall's Elder Scrolls.
That's made in the West, dummy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you meant the other check.
Wait,
Focus,
this
people.
girl's 20? And she played Daggerfall.
Maybe he was just like way
Here,
more popular than
here's
you
a
think.
girl from podcast number 336, and her number 5 is Daggerfall.
That's so weird.
This is someone different.
You just have a lot of misconceptions about female.
Brad just
gamers.
thinks all women are the same.
I just...
Anyway,
None of them have played Daggerfall.
When I was in fucking middle school, Never mind.
Just keep going.
Bethany's top 5 games of all time.
Bethany.
Number 5. I don't know how to say this.
That's a weird game.
Diabetes? Kodu. Brad, how do you think number 5?
Kodelka.
Kodelka? Is that a-
And this is the part where I said Kodelka, which is the spiritual predecessor to the Shadow Heart series, PS1 RPG. I swear to God, deja vu. This whole podcast has happened before.
Wait,
already.
maybe you're just
Our whole fucking podcast has happened.
Maybe
Brad's
your
a little
psychic
slow.
powers are.
So what's her
awakening?
number 4, Brad?
You asked me, how do you say this, Brad? And I told you.
That's not
This
the
has
first-
happened before.
Yeah, I've asked you how to pronounce a game before, yeah.
Bethany.
No, it was that one. This fucking happened.
What's her number 4, Brad?
Metal Gear Solid 3.
Nope.
No.
Metal Gear Solid. Peace Walker.
Morrowind.
Is there number 3 Skyrim?
It's pretty
Her
close.
number 3 is Castlevania
Symphony of the
Dracula
Night.
X Chronicles.
Symphony of the Night.
Symphony of the Night.
Oh yeah, of course.
Our number 2 is Deus Ex
Human Revolution.
Human Revolution.
And a number 1.
And our number 1 game of all time is Shadow
Complex Warrior.
Hearts.
Shadow Hearts.
Shadow
Which
Hearts.
Kodelka is the...
That's the predecessor. Didn't you say that before, Brad? We've done this before.
Oh my god! I think
Somebody asked me how to say Kodelka before. I swear to fucking Christ.
I think
This
we're
shit happened.
trapped in a temporal loop.
Can I search this?
All right, who
My
wins, guys?
folder.
Just everybody remember the number
Dude.
9.
So is it
Obvious-
Tim or is it
No.
Bethany?
Obviously Bethany.
Remember the number 9.
I feel
Just remember that
Number
number.
9. What? Oh, the number 9?
Remember the number 9. So if this happens again and we see 9, we know something's
Then we
up.
know.
Why would we see
We
9?
know.
Because we remembered it.
Now we know.
I'm gonna call this the number 9 show.
Now we know.
No, call it the fucking Deja Vu show. Jesus fuck.
Deja 9.
All right, so who wins, guys? I'm gonna give it to Bethany.
Well,
Bethany.
who won before? We'll just give it to
Yeah,
the...
who won
I'm
last
giving it to
time?
Bethany because
Bethany.
I said all those sexist comments about her before playing Daggerfall as a young girl, but that was somebody else apparently. But I'm just gonna cross apply all that to
That
this.
was Ayano from Japan.
You know what? No, I'm gonna give it to Chai Tai for his Bill Murray in Stripes esque hijinks.
You said Blow
At the
Murray.
Blow Murray.
Blow Murray.
Blow Murray. Bill Murray.
I'm giving it to Chai Tai for Blue Jean Blonde.
No,
Yes, it's a tie. It's a tie. Move on.
I'm giving it to Chai Fi. He told
Chai Fi.
Chai Fi told us that really
I
funny
remember when you
Hollywood
said it
video
wrong
story.
last time.
No, I'm giving it to Bethany.
Remember the really
because
funny
that's an
Hollywood
awesome
video
name.
story? Remember that one?
Bethany.
All right,
With
Chai
the
Tai's
porn-
really funny.
The porn
Yeah.
disc. That was a funny
Chai
story.
Tai's really funny story about Nolan giving a little.
can we decide so we can hear what?
Bethany wins. She had a pimp ass list.
All right, Nolan. What does Bethany win?
Bethany wins.
There are very few people who would put the original Shadow Hearts ahead of the overrated Shadow Hearts Covenant. So
Oh,
high
I know,
five
right?
to Bethany.
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 Nolan, what does she win?
She wins.
She,
Congratulations.
She gets to escape. Moving on.
Yes.
I thought you were
So-
gonna say she wins like a free copy of Blue Jean Blondes
No.
3,
No.
4.
4.
It's in the
Porn
middle.
isn't. You're not allowed to have porn in London anymore.
What? Really?
Isn't that right?
Oh my God!
Didn't I hear
Mark's
that?
estate.
All right. Or it's like they
Bunch
block
of
it
red
online or something. Red comments. Wow.
No pornography.
we're
right.
gonna kidnap the Ayano chick and like roll her up in a carpet and give it to Bethany because she's clearly like the obsessed
They
like
clearly-
stalker
hey,
chick.
They
Brad,
clearly deserve each other.
Can you read from March 5th, 2013. Can you read me the number 4 on that list? Oh, fuck me.
I can't read anything. It's really little.
Right there. Can you read me that number 4? Is that Kodelka?
I don't know how to say that.
So is it possible that just shy of a year ago, Lamar F. from the Netherlands also had
Man, fuck
Kodelka
Lamar.
on his
How
list?
did 2 people have such an obscure ass game on their fucking top 5s? Who are
And is
these
it possible
people?
that then I too asked you how to pronounce that name?
Wait,
So
okay,
wait, is
so we had
Lamar
Wait a
from the
minute.
Netherlands also
This
Bethany?
chatter of the week has been a revisiting of like 9 other chatters of the week.
Oh my
No,
God.
this is fucking
This is-
bullshit. I don't know what's weird.
Wibbly
What stranger?
wobbly,
Y'all
timey
both
wimey.
2 fucking people have Kodelka on their top 5, or 2 girls in fucking high school grew up playing Daggerfall.
That's fucking weird. Let's move on.
So, if you too would like to participate in Chatter for the Week,
2 girls
and
who played Daggerfall at the age of 3.
if you would like to participate in Chatter for the Week and cause more commotion shit like this, please be sure to send an email to Nolan Hedstrom at 4playernetwork.com.
No.
Brad, what do you say?
No.
Include your name, perhaps a pronunciation if it's difficult, like Bethany,
Bethany.
where you're from,
Your age if you're a female.
your age, measurements,
If you
greatest fears, you know, whatever you're allergic
Greatest
to.
fears, that's
Maybe
creepy.
if you're on any medication,
Your favorite first date spot.
your high school teacher's name, the model of
Allergies.
your first car, your best friend growing up, the name of your first pet, and your zip code.
Your father's mother's maiden name.
Include your greatest gaming achievement, your shameful secret, your top 5 games of all time.
One of them has to be Kodelka.
And you too,
Also includes your perfect Sunday afternoon.
you too could possibly win Chatter for the Week.
Thank you. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and move into the final act of the show where we close it out with our 4-player minute. Brad, would you care to tell them what the 4-player minute is?
Yes. The 4-player minute is the time of the show where we each go around and we spend a minute saying what our hype, gaming hype is, our gaming sweat is for the near future, our thank you for the week, and our fuck you for the week.
Boom.
Okay.
Boom, baby.
I'll go first. My hype is for the Banner Saga,
Mm.
which I've secured a code for, and I will be playing
Nice.
Thursday.
Mm.
I'm excited about it. My sweat is that I have installed a Dragon Age game on my phone,
What?
and
What?
it's a
You
fucking
what?
free to play, fucking stupid, fucking shit game, and I know I'm gonna play it because I'm an idiot. I'm stupid because I'm a fucking idiot. So fucking stupid.
All right. That's noted.
It's this dumb fucking shit free to play thing.
Okay. Moving on.
My fuck you for the week goes to Mercury, Steam, and Konami. David Cox has recently come out and said that they plan on that Mercury Steam's working on a next gen game for Konami and that next gen series for Konami, and that they plan on, you know, they alluded to them signing like a long term like contract with Konami, and that fucking sucks because Mercury Steam fucking sucks. But my thank you for the week goes to Mercury Steam because they said it's not going to be a Castlevania thing, that they're moving on from Castlevania. So thank you, Mercury Steam. Please give fucking Castlevania back to people who know how to make good games in that series. And good luck fucking up whatever fucking
You're
Konami IP
so
you're gonna
negative.
fuck up. I hope it's fucking Contra or something because there's no way they can make that something people care about. You know, yeah. So fuck. I mean, the only thing that would hurt me is if they brought back like Suikoden or something, and
See?
Mercury Steam made Suikoden, which I don't think that's gonna happen. But hey, you never know.
You do never know.
What dormant Konami IP could Mercury Steam fuck up?
You know what?
Zone of the Enders.
No.
Mercury
No.
Steam does Zone of
No.
the Enders.
You know what the most logical Konami franchise they could give to Mercury Steam would be? Silent Hill. Because that's a series that already gets tossed around from developer to developer.
Silent
maybe
Hill is a
iteration.
bit of a slut.
But I
Honestly-
feel like Silent Hill has like sold so poorly for so long now that I just see them not doing anything with it. Like, and I'm
I think
just
that, I think
sitting
that
on it
fan
for a
base
while.
is too large to
Withered
ignore.
and
But those that
Tired.
fan base that you're talking about isn't like you. That fan base hasn't given a shit about Silent Hill since 3, maybe 4.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, like, those people are the people who take shits on fucking Homecoming, and probably didn't even play Downpour.
Downfall
you know?
was fantastic.
Downfall.
I think I took a shit on my
Downpour.
home.
Downpour.
You don't
said-
even
said
know the
da-
name of the game.
He
You're
said
dumb.
He said Downfall.
I
so
said
said
Downpour. You said Downfall, and
Shut
then
your-
I said you're silly.
Shut your ugly mouth.
Oh.
Nolan?
What's up?
Would you care to enlighten us to your 4-player minute?
I guess so.
Bleh.
All right. My hype is for Dark Souls. I am
shut
loving the shit out of it. I finally got a chance to get back into it. You know, I hate that I kind of let it drop, you know, what was that, like a year and a half ago when I was really getting into it. But now I'm back in, and it's to the point where it's like reaching that addiction of mine where I want to research everything online, but I'm trying not to, just so it is like a complete shock and awe experience.
Mhm.
And even playing it last night, definitely those moments where I don't know what's around the corner, and you know, I'm walking with my shield up and I'm, what the fuck?
I think you get. I mean, I think you can get that feeling even if you read some message board stuff.
No, I realize. No, the problem with me, Brad, is if I do research, I will do like everything. Like I will watch all the videos. I will, like, you know, read all the stats of everything, and I don't want to do that. So that was my hype. My sweat goes to Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. Konami and Kojima tweeted a picture the other day of it running on all the systems and all this stuff like that, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm worried.
What specifically are you worried about?
And that if they put it out on the PS4, I'm gonna buy a PS4.
Well, they did put it
Yeah,
Well,
out.
I know it's on the
that's the
PS4, but I
thing.
mean like a bundle. If they have like
Oh,
a
yeah.
PS4
I'm worried I might
bundle,
not have a PS4 by the time that comes out, because that'll be the game I think that makes me really want to get a PS4. The other thing is I'm worried that
Wait, for Ground Zeroes or 5?
Ground Zeroes.
Okay.
Ground Zeroes. I'm worried that when does Sony get a fucking patch in the or remove the
So the
fucking
HDCP.
HDCP.
that's another thing.
That needs to happen
That's
soon.
a bummer.
Yeah, so that's something that's been my fuck you for a while. But my thank you. Oh shit, I had it and I lost it. Oh yeah, my thank you goes to all of the community members that participated in our poll and then our community year of the video
Year of the video.
year of the video.
End of the year video.
Game end of the year video. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Some of them are going to be getting more appreciation from me in the form of a message in the next few days. Haven't done that yet though. And my fuck you goes to Dark Souls, because fuck you, Dark
I
Souls.
think we all know why that's a fuck you.
Jesus Christ. Oh, here's a hole. It doesn't seem that deep. Let me jump into it dead. Oh, I wasn't wearing the ring I was supposed to be wearing. God damn it. Like, everything about this game is just so...
Don't take the
Ugh.
ring off while you're fighting the boss. You'll die.
Did you try it, or...
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
just die?
Well, because I can't wear Havel's ring because I'm also wearing the ring of favor and protection.
Which you can't take off.
Which I can't take off. And I was wearing Havel's armor and I was super fucking slow. So I wanted to put on Havel's ring to increase my
Stamina. Or
well,
endurance.
Your equipment.
Equipment load.
Yeah. And I took off Covenant of Artorias and
You
are
just
dead.
die.
You are just dead.
Thanks, Obama. Yeah.
Covenant of Hunter.
All right, Crispy.
Okay. My hype is for Final Fantasy Tactics, War of the Lion, which I actually just got working on my computer today. So I'm gonna broadcast that tomorrow night, starting around 10:30 usually, maybe 10. We'll see. So come join me. It'll be my birthday broadcast, so we'll have fun.
Yeah, Crispy's birthday's tomorrow.
Yay!
Congratulations. You get to celebrate your birthday by playing the best game ever.
I know, right?
Technically, Chrissy's birthday's in 46 minutes.
Holy shit! I didn't know tomorrow's your birthday.
Yeah,
I'm
I
a bad
forgot.
friend.
I'm a good friend.
I forgot.
Congratulations. I heard you like Heavenly Sword. You can have this Nariko. I don't actually know what this is.
Oh, it's a book cover.
I don't know what it is.
Thank you.
It has a hole on both ends.
Is it a do-rag?
I think it's a do-rag.
That's kind of tight.
And Crispy died before he ever saw whatever.
21.
21. Really? That's like, damn.
That's good. All right.
My sweat is for Titanfall. There's been a lot of hype around this game,
A little bit.
and I'm just worried that it's getting to be a bit much. I mean, I still think it's going to be a good game, but like, I don't know if it's going to be the game I've built up in my head. But we'll see. My thank you for the week goes to From Software for their level of detail and attention in Dark Souls. I swear to God, the current character I'm playing, I've put about 60 hours in. This has been like my main character that I've taken through most of the game. Every time I play, I learn something new about the systems or about the lore or just like interesting little facts about the game world that you're in. Like, it's fantastic. It's so wonderfully layered, and you wouldn't necessarily know it just by booting up the game and playing it the first couple times. And then as you kind of get into it, you find more of the stuff. And it's fantastic. Really keeps me going. And my fuck you goes to Telltale for The Walking Dead for just completely making me hate life and the world. And I'm never sharing my beans ever again.
Oh.
Oh.
You know what? You mentioning From Software reminded me that, because I looked it up, the Silicon Studios or whatever that is making Bravely Default, their last game that they developed was 3D Game Heroes.
Really?
Which was published by From Software. And that game's really fucking good.
It is.
That was a PS3 exclusive, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
All right. And my 4-player minute starts now. My hype is for Bravely Default. It's the first major release of the year, and the demo has really impressed me.
No, it's not. Octodad is the first major release of this year.
I think for me that I'm picking up personally.
You're not going to be playing Octodad?
I'll probably
You
get it.
heartless fucker.
I know, I'm a heartless fuck.
Have you
Anyways,
seen that trailer? Oh man, it's such a good trailer.
It is a really good trailer.
I mean, I probably will. It's coming out for PS4, right? I'll probably get that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bravely Default looks really great. I'm really excited about it. It's my first RPG that's been really heavily focused on a job class system, which is kind of exciting for me. And I honestly think the game just looks absolutely fantastic. It looks like Final Fantasy Tactics, or I'm trying to think of another game that was heavily based on job class systems, whatever. But it's like that kind of game meshed with like a Vanillaware game where like the art style is just absolutely stunning and it's great to look at, and that's pretty exciting. My sweat goes to Nintendo for obvious reasons. We had a pretty extensive conversation about their financial state in this podcast, and obviously the future of that or how they're going to deal with that problem going forward is kind of worrying. I don't think they're going to leave the console market, but they could make some drastic decisions as far as how they approach it that could maybe even delay, games like Zelda, where maybe we're no longer going to see a Zelda game on the Wii U.
We will. I just hope it's not shit.
Yeah, that's true. My thank you goes to IO Interactive for recognizing when maybe they didn't make such a great call with an entry in one of their hit franchises and decided to approach it head on and talk directly to their community and address those issues. That's pretty cool of them, and it makes me optimistic about the future, even though maybe I haven't found a Hitman game that's really gelled well with me. I'm kind of hoping this one does. And my fuck you for the week goes to Brad for questioning the loyalty of the Silent Hill community.
What?
Go fuck yourself, Brad.
I'm just saying, they talk a
Hill
lot
people.
of shit about Homecoming and Downpour.
I know. I'm just playing. Anyways,
and Origin.
That does it, guys. That was our first show of 2014. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
There were no hiccups at all. It was a great show.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
If only they could all be this good.
Yeah.
Yes, if only. We'll see if we can
We
top
have
it
a
next
year
week.
to go.
Yeah.
So anyways, of course, find us over at 4playernetwork.com. You can watch us broadcast live every single night over at 4pp.tv. If you're watching us live right now, be sure to stick around after the show. We're going to be addressing the community, talking to them about kind of our plans going forward and answering any questions they have, addressing concerns, brainstorming a little bit, because we want to make 2014 a big year for us and we need y'all's help. So thank you to everyone who's going to stick around and take part in that. And I think there's something else. Oh yeah, we're going to start posting these podcasts on YouTube again. We did our Game of the Year award show last week, and we put that up on YouTube. Had a pretty good response to it, so we're going to start doing that going forward. So in the same style. So look for us on YouTube. You can find all of our highlights, trailer talks, new release Tuesdays, podcast videos, all up on YouTube. So please, we work hard on that. So check that out. And I think that's it. We're going to be back next Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on 4pp.tv to do another one of these.
Please vote in the poll.
We should stop lying to the people.
It's like 8 o'clock.
8 p.m.
We aim for
No, because if
No,
you start
no.
saying 8 p.m., you guys are going to show up at 8:30.
Let's be here. Let's say 7:30 so we can be here by 8.
No, I'm going to be here by 8. Definitely.
7:30.
He drives.
Hey,
7.
we had a bit of an issue at work the past month or so, and as a result, I have to work until 6 every day instead of 5:30. So until that stops, it's tough.
Okay.
But that'll change eventually.
It's real tough.
So, anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Of course, please find us on iTunes. If you like the show, if you don't always catch it live, but you want to still listen to it every week, find us on iTunes, subscribe. You get every episode. I try and get them up the following day. Sometimes I don't get them up to the day after, so maybe Wednesday or Thursday. But look for them there. You can take them on the go. We'd really appreciate it. And I guess we'll see you guys next week. So thanks for watching. Peace
Bye,
out.
guys.
Bye.